here's where we start part 2 of Reckless Ben's videos. And, fortunately for me, well, we have some additional context for this video, and I'm glad I waited for this, because I didn't know we were gonna get this, but we have evidence that very much confirms what I was originally intending to say for this part. So, let's not waste any time. 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Search warrant. Stand up. Step outside, everybody. No, don't move.
This is the story of how I got swatted, all because of Legos. The whole thing started with me investigating a Lego company called Bricks and Minifigs. The company sent 2 guys to steal the world's largest Star Wars Lego collection worth around $200,000. And for some reason, the police are helping them get away with it.
As I explained in the last part, the police don't know what's going on. And as far as the police are concerned, Ben is some rando YouTuber harassing a local business owner. And that's the way they want it to stay. Let's keep going.
The family reached out to me saying that I'm their last hope to get them their life savings back. The video I made exposing them was actually insane. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet.
Truly it is. He's a madman.
Taking them to court, and we actually won. When I went back to the store to collect,
I actually got a brief update on this one. At the time of this recording, he was under the impression he had won, so don't fault him for that. It's a little more complicated, but the reality is he had, the best I can understand, he not only sued the wrong entity, sued an out-of-date one from 2018, but also by serving it to the employees instead of the, it technically didn't count. Probably needed to give it to, well, it is that particular store. Ugh, hard to say. If I had to guess, Amanda was probably the one he had to deliver it to, if we're going reasonable. But by all metrics, I think a court would still expect, like, employees to report the service to the managers. So, I'm not going to do it one way or the other here. The fact that he at this stage, Josh hadn't been getting back to him. Not really. The last call we had was Josh threatening to accuse him of stealing and how he can't totally do that. We even had Josh shutting down the store early so he couldn't serve the store. So we do know Josh was aware that service was supposedly incoming. So handing it off to the employees probably still should have worked. But again, he sued the wrong entities, so I'm not going to fault him on this video, but that's a detail I only recently discovered. Still, that sounds like a civil matter. Let's continue.
my money, they literally shut down the entire store just to avoid paying us. Dang it! So I personally gave them an official closing ceremony, and it went extremely viral. And now the entire world has seen how corrupt this Bricks and Minifigs company is.
We didn't get the Legos back, but I mean, we shut down an entire business.
We still gotta get the Legos back. Yeah, I made a.
This madman knows only two things: bullshit tactics and fucking Legos. I was realizing as I was talking about the first two videos I made on this, Ben is an anime character brought to life. This is not... Nobody expected, like, everyone goes, oh, so-and-so's Luffy, so-and-so's Luffy. No, I want you to understand something. This is the most Luffy-coded thing I've ever seen in my entire life. You have a problem. Sounds like somebody stole simple pleasure from your life. Don't worry, I, a completely unpredictable lunatic, will arrive. And as I've come to call him in my circles, I am now classifying Reckless Ben right up there with Luffy as magical fighting crackhead. Because as far as his enemies are concerned, that's what he is. He's a magical fighting crackhead. And I do know the irony of accusing him of this, but we'll get there.
Promise to this family that I was not going to stop on my journey until we get them their entire Lego collection back. Right now, the two...
Before we continue my assessment, let me inform you again. Narcissist theater is for educational purposes. What I'm saying here is not clinically enforceable, nor am I asserting it as fact. This is merely speculation based on my experience of over 30 years of living with narcissists and learning to read their tactics. If you recognize any of the tactics that I'm bringing up here, do not confront your local narcissist. Quietly excuse yourself from their life. Do not announce it. Do not try and confront them. Do not try to change them. If I find you using my terms or my argumentation in an argument to try and convince somebody they're a narcissist, I hate to inform you, but you're the narcissist. All right? All right. So, let's get back into my educational speculation on this matter.
Owners Joshua Johnson and Brandon Best probably think that they're safe by closing out the store, but the reality is I can literally just sue them all over again, but personally this time. So, I started to file my lawsuit. But right after I filed this court case, it got rejected. And the reason was, I failed to demonstrate a good faith effort to resolve the dispute prior to filing.
Basically, before this court case can get approved, I have to at least attempt to settle with Josh outside of court first.
I tried calling Josh, but I'm blocked.
I'm sorry, but
Oh
the person
man. So my only
Keep in mind, as of the agreement he's made with the Mansells, and the contract the Mansells have, Ben does actually have a personal claim against them, which they don't believe. They're not going to ever believe. That's just not in their nature. We'll get into that. But he does have $1,000 worth of property. I think $10,000. $10,000 worth of Legos that are in their possession. Due to his agreement and his arrangement with the Mansells, at this point in time, there is property that he has a legal right to that is currently in the custody of Bricks and Minifigs. So he does actually have a basis for a personal lawsuit, provided that that is in fact what he is suing for.
option left is to travel to his house to have this conversation in person.
Basically, if Josh wants to save the day, I got him a trophy that says, Joshua Johnson saved the day. And we'll give him this trophy, but he has to give the Legos back first.
So we started driving to Josh's house to have this good faith conversation the court requires us to have.
We're in Josh's neighborhood. Oh my gosh.
But when we showed up, Josh was already outside talking on the phone to someone.
Oh my gosh, okay, Josh.
I'm willing to bet cash money he's talking to the CEO right now. We'll get into why later, but I am 100% convinced he's talking to the CEO right now.
He's outside on the phone.
It's crazy.
Wait, do I interrupt his phone call or do we just like wait?
Interrupt his phone.
The proper answer is yes. Stupid as it sounds, this was your opportunity to be unreasonable. Because you tried to be a sensible person, you will create problems for yourself later. Then again, you might have just had the same problems, except with the other person you have to do this to. So maybe it was better you didn't do it here. I don't know, we'll figure it out.
No, probably not.
I thought it would be pretty rude to interrupt his phone call, so we parked around the corner and decided to wait for him to get off this call.
I like how we just have this conversation outside.
Right. He doesn't want to get his wife involved. He's hiding something.
Everything's good, honey.
What the heck?
I'm pretty sure Josh is on the phone with corporate Bricks and Minifigs. And the reason I think that is we were actually just there right before this.
Okay, pulling up to Bricks and Minifigs headquarters.
The plan was to give them one more chance to do the right thing before suing them again. While we were there, one of the corporate employees answered the door and told us he would get the CEO to come talk to us.
Yeah. The CEO, after his last conversation with Ben, they're not having any more face-to-face conversations. Because the last conversation he had with him is, I see what you're doing here, but this isn't your business. Ammon isn't coming out again. Ben has made clear that he is not going to be convinced or swayed by any of their narcissistic arguments. He's not going to waste his time. they're going to go directly to escalation to police. That's predictable.
Well, no, they said they're getting some guy to talk to us. We're just waiting.
I can already tell you right now, no one else talking to you.
Really? But they told us that they were.
I know.
Since Josh only lives like 15 minutes away, they must have informed him that we're in the area, because a few minutes later, this happened.
Dude, the police just showed up. What the heck? Why are the police at his house?
Oh, there's another one, dude. 2 cop cars.
3 cop cars?
Oh my gosh. Cop cars.
Why is there 3 cop cars at his house? We didn't even walk up to his house yet. The cops are following us. What the heck? That's so...
Here's where we get into what I think is the first portion of the leaked cams. Because we have the leaked body cams. And I'm going to pull them up right here real quick. Because I made sure to cue them up before we got started. There we go. And this is where I think the first clip in this assessment of what I've put together, I think this is where this one slots in.
His name is Ben Schneider. He's stalking my house. Will you come to my house, please, and come get them? I'm not going to have stalkers.
Are they there right now?
They're on the side of the house.
One of the dispatchers made a note here saying that you were gonna shoot someone.
I'm done with this. Officer, can you please help?
Okay, I might jump the gun. There's an undocumented call before this one, apparently. Because the call where he says he's going to shoot somebody, this could still be it. But the call where he says he's going to shoot somebody is what leads into this one.
Me and my family and Nick can stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we're going to come back to that later. But that's... He feels like he's getting stalked. Okay? So now we're back to this one. But yes, I'm just assuming the audio worked on that one. Hold on, what's going on here? There we go. Now this video, and hopefully the audio works just fine on it.
Oh, crazy, dude. Obey every traffic law. Oh, shoot.
My name's Officer. This is Maricourt Police. The reason I stopped you is the stop sign.
I didn't? I thought I stopped.
Yeah, you definitely stopped. So you said you ran a stop sign?
Huh?
You said you ran a stop sign?
I didn't see what happened.
Yeah, I was like...
Because
I
we
didn't
definitely
run.
stopped at the
Yeah,
stop
we
sign.
stopped.
Yeah.
I was so sure that we stopped at the stop sign that I actually requested all the police footage of this. And as you can see, we didn't even do a rolling stop. We fully stopped at the stop sign. So this is an illegal traffic stop.
So who's Ben?
Right here. Okay, no, I was right. So we need to see more of this to get more context. You ready to see the other video now to get better context? Because this is where they hear his name and the context they hear it in.
She had a consignment deal with a guy named Brian Mansell. A year and a half, almost 2 years, she had this consignment deal with him and she never paid him. He's hired this YouTuber. His name is Ben Schneider. He's Reckless Ben. They sent people in saying they're going to murder our manager.
He just lied to the police. Because if, in fact, Ben, who has actually up to this point in time been very cooperative with the police trying to arrest him, if he had threatened to kill her, that would have been a thing. Oh, but he says he sent someone else. That never came to pass. I 100%, I'm telling you this right now as somebody who knows narcissists, they are saying that specifically to poison anything Ben says to the police. Because if police hear that someone's life or safety has been threatened, they have to investigate. I know my mom is a former police dispatcher, and I've had to deal with narcissists making this exact case for how they would get me in trouble to my face. People who have no issue destroying property and physically assaulting you when they know you won't fight back. But if you don't shut up, will say that you are a physical danger they need removed because you are a danger to their life. And why do they feel that way? Because your not shutting up is a threat to their sense of self. It is the same to them as holding a gun to their head. He believes what he's saying because if he was lying, that would make him a bad person. Besides, even if you could prove he was lying, as far as he's concerned, Ben's been lying this whole time, so it's just evening the playing field. He's not the bad guy, Ben is, and that's why it's okay to accuse him of threatening somebody's safety in order to make sure the cops get rid of him.
I'm done.
Also, I'm done being like, yeah, no, he's, this is what I meant, Ben. If you ever see these videos, this is what I meant. Especially when you hung that banner, you had declared war. You had made it impossible for them to pretend this didn't happen. They now have to repeat this story they have told themselves over and over again. And every single time they do, they can't forget that they did it. They have to hide behind this practice narrative because every single time they get asked, they have to keep their story straight. So they tell it the same way every time, frame themselves the victim, hope nobody asks any uncomfortable questions. And if they just act pathetic and distressed enough and say, man, I just can't think straight, nobody will ask those questions.
She is a process server and she's trying to serve you papers.
She's not a process.
Oh, okay. See, this is what I mean by it's ahead of it. That's spoilers for the next part of the video. But he must have, it's such a well-practiced story, he must have told it to the other police, too. Oh, I freaking love that. I love when that happens, where it's like, hey, you have your story so practiced that everybody knows it. Let's get back to this one, then.
Me? Ben? How's Utah? It's good? Like it?
Okay, it's pretty obvious that the police know why we're here, so I just explained to them the entire situation.
This old man spent his entire life collecting the world's largest Star Wars Lego collection set.
The only problem is it's a crazy story, and the police officer did not believe me.
And we're going to be getting into that later, too. Don't worry about it.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, when the officer went back to his car, this is the message that he radioed in.
Hey, can you get the contact for Reckless Ben? Said he didn't have his ID, but he's just straight lying to me about everything else, so.
Since the cops don't believe my story, they trespassed me from the property.
Everybody today is being trespassed from that property.
Okay.
Yeah, we were forced to go home without having this good faith conversation the court requires us to have.
Yeah, what do we do now, dude? Like, we didn't even, like...
Honestly,
talk to 'em and we're gonna trespass.
honestly, I would say
One
the
thing I
formal
didn't
trespass
understand
should be
was
proof of that.
How the heck did they know we were coming? I was hiding in the back seat the entire time, and the car's windows were extremely tinted.
These windows are so tinted, you can't see anything.
But as I was outside inspecting our car tint, the same police showed up to our house.
Oh no, we're getting pulled over again?
It was weird. He wouldn't tell us why he was here.
Like I said, we've already talked about it.
Yeah, well thanks for being so cool about everything.
Yeah.
They're like after us, dude.
Anyways,
Yeah. Yup. Do you know what happened? Because I can tell you what happened. They called him back and said, yeah, they just seem to be trying to have a good faith conversation with you about some legal stuff. And they're not really causing much of a problem, apparently, so we're going to just let them go for now. We let them know that, maybe don't harass you, and that they're trespassed off your property, and that should be good to go, right? But Josh already knows that trespassing them off the property isn't going to do them any good. Trespassing isn't enough anymore. He needs Ben to actually be scared. He needs Ben on the run, because being trespassed off the property doesn't make Ben shut up. He needs Ben to shut up, stop bringing it up, and let him forget this ever happened. He is desperate. So he calls again, saying, they're stalking me, I need you to take care of this. Guarantee. I guarantee. And that's why the same cops who were already in the area, which Josh didn't care, Josh wasn't thinking about that, the same police got called in again. The cops are like, they're just minding their business. They're not even near your property anymore. We're good. And then they just moved on again.
Since Josh clearly doesn't want to have this good faith conversation with me, I took his trophy and destroyed it.
Wait,
guys, let's throw it off that thing.
You should have just given him the Legos, Josh.
Just like in the previous video, I tried to give Josh the benefit of the doubt, the easy way. But again, Josh does not want to do the easy way. The only option left is to go the hard way. But before going the hard way, I actually remembered that there's another owner of the store named Brandon Best. Brandon is the guy in the security camera footage that illegally kicked the first owner out of the store so he could steal all their Legos. I tried calling him, but I am also blocked.
I'm sorry.
The only option left is to show up to his house.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
This right here is the look of a man. Right there. That's the moment this man went, it's that motherfucker. This is the look of a man who once been dead. Because this is the man who blew the lid on their strong-arming of an old man. As far as Brandon was concerned, this was open and shut. In fact, it was this clip that told me Brandon might be the smartest of the three, and he's probably just the muscle. Because this man's smart enough to not open his mouth to say anything.
Hello? Hey, well, I was wondering if you'd be down to pay us for the lawsuit that we won.
It kind of seems like Brandon doesn't want to have this good faith conversation to resolve this problem outside of court, and I gave him plenty of time to speak.
Like I said, Brandon's probably the smartest of the three. Ammon and Josh both have opened their mouth way too big in all of this and admitted to way more than they needed to. Brandon might be the smart one, which means he may or may not actually be not a narcissist. He might just be something else. He could be a psychopath. Or, well, that one purely is speculation. He might just be a guy he's just the muscle man. I do what I am told, I am sent on my orders, and I do not care. That could very well be what it is. He's just an opportunist. He might not have any disorders. He just is useful muscle for the narcissists in his life. I'd believe that. I'd really believe that. Because he's the only one smart enough to keep his mouth shut, and I haven't seen him make any social media appearances. This is the smartest of the three people at the core of what happened.
I guess if you don't want to talk, I'll just talk. So you guys told us to take you to court. We went to court and we won. We know you closed down the store to avoid paying us, so we could just sue you guys personally and do the whole thing again. We would obviously win again, but
then the police showed up, and again, for some reason, they are really trying to protect these criminals.
He didn't steal anything. He inherited the store from somebody.
No, he stole
She's technically right.
$200,000 worth of... Because I've been spending the last 3 months in the case, and I won in court.
He inherited...
Here she goes and repeats the same story she was already told by the people who led by saying they were the victims being harassed.
Inherited the store. He's being blamed for everything that the previous owner did, and he's trying to...
Well, that's a lie. So we...
Okay.
Again, she heard a reasonable story from him. Or from Josh, one of the two. Probably Josh. A reasonable version of the story that any sensible person would understand and would try and play interference for in their local community. Because as much as they want to frame it as a business deal gone wrong, for the sake of their coverage of getting what they want. It also is just a business deal gone wrong. Put a sorry enough tone on it, nobody will think twice. Because it's not their fault that the previous owner was a bad businesswoman who didn't know how to keep clean books. We'll get into what happened to her later in this video, if I recall. But as far as everybody's concerned, she left town under mysterious circumstances and left them with the mess. A mess they are under no legal obligation to remedy until it's settled in a civil court. Narcissists provide you two paths. A seemingly reasonable path to getting what you want, which they will make exceedingly unreasonable as you go along, or the alternative reasonable option of sitting your ass down and shutting the fuck up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He's still trying to clean up the mess from the previous owner, and now he's catching blame for it. And he's just trying to clean up the mess from the previous owner.
No, him saying that it's the previous owner, that's a lie, and we already proved this in court.
If you come back and step foot on this property, you're gonna go to jail.
The police gave me a formal trespass notice, which I took a picture of it and sent it to the court as proof I tried to have this good faith conversation.
Which is my proof that he could have done the same thing with Josh after he got a formal trespass from that property too. He doesn't need to do what happened next, but for the body cam footage we have access to, I'm kinda glad he did.
But Brandon didn't want to have it with me, and turns out this was good enough. My court case with Brandon Best got accepted. But my court case with Josh is still going to be rejected until I find a way to have this good faith conversation with him. So I decided to see if I could find Josh online, to see if I could look up any more information about him.
Yeah, they all look the same. No.
Joshua Johnson.
Yeah, Joshua Johnson.
Lower their tax liabilities and minimize their exposure to lawsuits. That's hella ironic. Are you?
Because when you go through the proper channels, he makes it as difficult and stupid as possible to try and sue his clients. He's very good at what he does. Which is why the insane crap you're doing blows his fucking mind. Because you were supposed to be normal people. This was supposed to be a normal situation. And then a magical flying crackhead broke into the situation, and well, shit.
You kidding me, dude? That's what he's known for? Is reducing people's exposure to lawsuits?
After some more research, we found out that both Josh and Brandon are super hardcore Mormon, which was actually extremely surprising to me, because if Josh and Brandon are truly Mormons, they believe that stealing is wrong, and if they steal, they're gonna go to hell.
They don't think they stole it. And legally, they didn't. Morally, they did. And they understand that. But if they can win in a court of law and make you stop talking about it, then they can forget it ever happened. To them, they saw an opportunity. They took it. And well, shoot. Now, unfortunately, I'm actually very well versed in other religions. And I'm sorry, Josh and Brian, I know you are not good Mormons. Well, first off, because you're probably narcissists. So, if there's one thing I've learned about narcissists and religion, it's that it's so they can look themselves in the mirror and say, well, God forgave me. Because if they can let go of it, if they can forget it, then it never happened. So if God forgives them, they can forgive themselves, and then it never happened. And if they can use their morals, their religious position to appear like good, principled people to get that social capital they need to do immoral crap, well, shoot, that's just an upshoot. Let's continue.
Or I guess in Mormonism they call it the outer darkness. But still, Brandon and Josh probably actually believe that this is going to be eternity for them. I mean, Josh even swore to me on his Mormon God in the last video that he would give us the Legos back.
I promise you, I swear to God. I promise you on everything.
But maybe I can use this to my advantage. My problem right now seems to be that Josh is never going to listen to anything I ever tell him. But if someone from his church heard this audio, maybe he would listen to them. So after finding exactly what church these guys go to, we went to it and showed one of the Mormons there this audio clip. And the Mormon thought that the best thing to do was to have a talk with Josh to save him from going to this outer darkness.
This poor kid. He's doing what he should be doing as a properly religious man. He sees his brother in the faith, giving his word on God that he would do something, and he's coming out there not to chastise, not to command, not to rat him out, but to appeal to his morality. Unfortunately for this poor young man, Josh doesn't have a morality because he's a narcissist. The moment he can make this memory hold, that's the moment he's clean with God. That's his mindset on it. And this young boy, well, shoot, he's going to get told that this is all just some big misunderstanding that needs to be solved in civil court, and you've just been lied to. It isn't really what it says it is. I just said those things because I was under distress. Or even worse, that clip you were showed is entirely fake. I never said that I would give it back, and I never swore on God. That YouTuber is lying to you. Of the two options, the second one seems the most likely.
Okay, good luck. I guess me and Tyler are staying back.
Because remember, if I can convince you that it's not true, then I can forget about it and it never happened. If I can convince you that it never happened, then I can forget about it and pretend that it never happened.
Already trespassed, so...
Yeah, we ended up just driving home, but on our way back, this happened.
What? Pulled over again? For what? How's it going?
How's it going? I'm Officer Hawkins, American Police Department. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Well, what's your name? Are you Ben?
Josh got the kid at his porch. Reckless Ben was ratted out by the kid, as he should have been. That's a good moral principle, upstanding citizen right there. And then Josh called the police because now Reckless Ben is going to my church and lying to my church about what I've done. Woe is me, he's stalking me. He went to my church. You should have given him the Legos, Josh.
Hanging out down here.
At this point, we realized what's going on. Yesterday, I told Brandon that our plan is to now sue them personally.
We could just sue you guys personally and do the whole thing again. We would obviously win again.
It seems like they're getting so desperate that they're going to resort back to the same strategy they used in the last video.
You know what's really funny is after you left, I got a call from my boss, and it was like, how...
They're using the same strategy because to them, you didn't do anything. To them, this is exactly where you've always been. All you did, Ben, was declare war on them by putting up that banner exposing what they did and making them incapable of forgetting it. Especially after it went viral, they are desperate to discredit and silence Reckless Ben. We're not to where it needs to be yet. But I want you to remember that part of the call you heard before. Part of a dispatcher was saying that he was going to shoot Ben if he stepped on the property. We're not at that part of the story yet, but by the time we get there, I fully believe that that is where they're at. You'll see what I mean as we go.
Dang.
Yeah, Josh and Brandon think that if they can somehow get us arrested and thrown in jail, then we won't be able to sue them. I don't know what they told the police we did this time, but they caught us too late. The Mormon kid was already on his way to Josh's house to save him from this outer darkness and bring him back to God.
What's going on, sir? You can sit on down here for me first. What brings you here?
I'm just here trying to talk to Brother Johnson.
Okay.
I'm in the other second ward. There's been an audio going around with the young men group.
Okay. What's the audio that you wanted to play?
Here's the audio.
I'm not gonna screw you. You have my word. That's not who I am. I promise you. I swear to God.
Who's that?
So
I guess
that's
from?
that's him.
No, I know that. I could tell that from the voice, but
I was just gonna ask him, like, is he willing to give up everything like he said? Because he swore on everything. He swore on God. This might be a crazy ask, but could you take a selfie with me?
This young kid who believes his faith whole-souled is going to have his faith destroyed by this. All because Josh didn't want to give an old man back his Legos. You should have given him the Legos, Josh.
But anyways, back to us. The police apparently got a call that we had heroin on us.
I want you to take note on that one. Specifically, they were accused of heroin possession. If I'm recalling this video correctly, that comes back up later.
Search of your person because there are substances in the vehicle. So he's gonna do that. I'm gonna put this away, and then we'll be right. Don't reach in your pockets for me. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Like this, the vehicle will be searched. Okay. I'm gonna have you stick by my sergeant.
After 2 hours of searching the car, obviously they found no drugs.
so he didn't find anything.
I explained to the police that we didn't have drugs, and the reality of the situation is that Bricks and Minifigs is so desperate at this point that they're willing to do anything to get us arrested so they don't have to pay for the property.
It's more complicated than that, Ben. It's so much more complicated. Because to them, they don't owe you that money. Because they did everything technically correctly. Doesn't matter the morals, what matters is that they should have been able to just get away with this without any kind of trouble. This isn't being done to avoid paying you. This is being done to punish you for not leaving the matter alone. At the beginning of this, they threatened Brian that if he were to try and come after them in court, they would make the whole thing cost him more than his collection was worth. Their intention with this is, especially after you put that banner up on their store and made ignoring this impossible, you declared war as far as they were concerned. Their goal is to make this as painful for you as possible so that no amount of money you get from Mansell or from YouTube or from a GoFundMe, none of it will cover your costs. They want to hurt you so bad that you don't just stop doing this, you never try anything like this again with anyone. They want to discredit you, they want to destroy you, and they want to put you through so much hell that you will never, ever, ever bother them again. You have pierced through every single ring of defenses they have created by virtue of being a lunatic with the self-preservation instinct of a fucking lemming. So they're trying to see how hard they have to hurt you before your self-preservation instinct kicks in and you stop. They don't understand that you're a complete and utter fucking lunatic. Because, to them, everything is transactional. Why would you be going through all this trouble if you weren't going to be making a profit? So they've rationalized it. We didn't do anything wrong. This YouTuber is harassing us for clicks. And so they're going to make sure that you hurt so badly and you are so thoroughly discredited in the eyes of everyone around you that you never, ever, ever get in their way again.
They stole. And the police was arguing back with just some of the worst comebacks I've ever heard, which is why I think the police actually redacted this audio in this clip, because if they kept the audio in, then the world would get to see how stupid the American Fork Police Department is. But anyways, even though we were passing every single drug test they gave us, they were still not going to let us go until we told them where the drugs were.
You're right.
Because the process is the punishment. As far as the American Fork Police Department is concerned, you are a YouTuber harassing an innocent man on behalf of an angry, disgruntled businessman trying to get money you are not owed and disrupting not just business but their personal lives. And why do they believe this? Because narcissists are good at spinning their victim narrative, and they are very compelling by framing things as what's more likely, that I did this outlandish thing, or that this other alternative that is reasonable and gives me an excuse for not being the problem happened. This is why everything a narcissist does is outlandish by design. It's so that way if you want to try and prove it, you have to go after them through channels they've already booby-trapped. And if you try and do he said, she said, nobody will believe you. Again, we come back to my favorite bit of advice. Document every interaction you have with the narcissists in your life. All of them. It'll save your life.
For example, right? There's a constriction, which is dilated, and then
Do you notice it?
So I haven't been looking at this. I'll show him. Look, go ahead and look at him.
Oh, look at you?
Yeah.
You do see it?
So.
It's crazy. I have no idea, because I've never done any drugs in my life. I don't do drugs. I don't do alcohol. I've never done any of that in my life. I'm willing to do any drug tests. Yeah. Like, I'm very cooperative. I don't understand, what you're seeing in my eyes.
I'm going to have a discussion with this officer.
And then the police department illegally redacted this conversation too. My guess is that they acknowledge that it's very obvious we don't have drugs on us, but they were going to try and pressure us into giving some type of false confession anyways.
I'm not sure if you're lying to me or not, to be honest.
I'm willing to take any drug test you want.
I'm walking a very dangerous line, which should get you into a lot of time.
Yeah.
And you could end up in jail in Utah when you're from Cali.
Okay.
Not worth it, right?
Yeah.
This is the police assuming that Ben already knows what he's been accused of doing, and that what he's being accused of, since it sounds so reasonable, is true. This is them in code admitting that they're putting him through hell as punishment and telling him, hey, whatever amount of money you think you're going to get paid for harassing this innocent man isn't worth it, because it'll get you in jail in Utah when you live in California, and all for what? Clicks on a YouTube video? It's not worth it. Let's continue.
We play differently here. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Everybody takes that as we play it illegally here. It's not the intent. The intent is to let him know that whatever YouTube clickbait, rage, viral nonsense he thinks he's going to get away with, in California, you can get away with all kinds of crap down there. It's insane. And they're trying to inform him that in Utah, you don't get to just do viral memes, you don't get to just harass people, you don't get to do TikTok videos for the sake of a good laugh. You can't just say, it's a prank, bro, and get away with it in Utah. Because they believe the official story. And the official story is technically true. But they have no idea the amount of insane things that Ben has done, all above board himself, because everything Ben's done has been entirely legal as well. I don't condone it, nor do I think it was the right move, but he did do it all legally. Yeah, they don't understand. As far as they're concerned, the victim has told them that this man is doing a bunch of illegal crap to harass him. And as far as the victim is concerned, that is how he feels it is. Let's keep going.
I'm willing to cooperate with you guys and do anything you want me to, because I'm not hiding anything. I can promise you that. I promise.
We weren't giving the police a false confession like they wanted, so eventually I guess they just got tired and let us go.
We'll let you guys go now, but you're walking a thin line. Just be mindful of that. Does that make sense?
Okay. At this point, I've documented everything I've been through to the court, that I've tried to have this good faith conversation with Josh. He just doesn't want to have it with me. And because of everything I went through, my court case finally got approved. And attached to this email are court papers to serve Josh. The only problem is Josh is not going to open this door for anyone. He wouldn't even talk to another Mormon. Instead, he just called the police on him. In order to get Josh to come outside, I'm really gonna have to get creative. So I made this poster that says, "I stole a dying man's life savings," and printed it out. Now I'm placing this poster in a public space right across the street from Josh's house. Yeah, it turns out this tiny patch of land is actually free for any person of the public to use. And since we have the freedom of speech, I am breaking no laws by doing this. So when Josh walks outside to take down this sign, I have a process server to serve him his court papers. But almost immediately, my sign got blocked.
And this is where we get to the next part of this phone call. Because as you said, as you saw last time, he says right here, oh, she's not a real process server. So this is where this phone call happened. I will rewind it some so that we can get back to where this phone call happened.
You were gonna shoot someone?
I'm done with this. Officer, can you please help me and my family and make this stop?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you help me and my family and make this stop? He was willing to shoot Ben at this point just to get him to stop, to shut him up. He was in tears. And why? Well, because of a tiny little sign out front of his house on public land that says he stole an old man's life savings. And also because he was confronted by one of the members of his church, or at least attempted to be confronted by them, about how he frickin' promised on God. You gotta believe, because there was more days that happened between these two clips. Because it took time for him to get the process server and everything, right? So what we have here is that boy either texted Josh or met him somewhere or spoke to him while at a church service about the clip. Because of course he would. It bothered him. Now, Josh can't even go to church to pretend this didn't happen. He can't even hang out in his own house without looking out the window at a tiny sign in his own neighborhood that all his neighbors can see, saying that he stole an old man's life savings, which raises questions he doesn't want. Of course he's willing to shoot him to shut him up, because at this point in time, this boy has not understood any other form of intimidation or force.
She had a consignment deal with a guy named Brian Mansell. A year and a half, almost 2 years, she had this consignment deal with him and she never paid him. He's hired this YouTuber. His name is Ben Schneider. He's Reckless Ben. They sent people in saying they're going to murder our manager.
Again, a total lie. Continuing.
I'm done.
She is a process server and she's trying to serve you papers.
She's not a process server.
Okay.
Get the papers.
Have
They're
you-
fake
have you
papers.
dealt-
They're fake. Go get the papers.
You're okay if I bring those over to you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're fake.
All right. We jumped there for a reason. But listen to what he says. Like, can you get this guy away from my family? This man's a threat to me and my family. I'm going to shoot him if he comes near me. And he's convinced that all of this is fake.
He's blocking our sign.
What are you guys doing here?
So we are in a court case with them, and we have to serve them legal papers.
So I explained to the cops the entire situation.
I'm not going on his property.
Right, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The police
See, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
realized that we're not breaking any laws, and they've been called here for a false reason, so they decided to leave.
Awesome, thank you.
So that's the first police saying, hey, as long as you're not on his property, this is technically legal, and if you're just going to serve him some papers, that's fine. We'll leave you to it.
This is going so much better than yesterday.
So now it's time to serve Josh these court papers. And then we got the police called on us again.
Hello. This man stole basically his family's life savings. So we're just here to serve him his court papers.
Again, I explained to this police officer the entire situation.
I wish we could just send him an email or a phone call, but yeah, the court requires us to come in person for some reason, so.
Again, the cops realized that we are doing nothing illegal and decided to leave. Now it's time to serve Josh his court papers. But we got the police.
And this is the walk back after that conversation we just had. So he left the car where it was, went down to Mr. Josh and said, hello, Mr. Josh. They are just trying to serve you the papers with a court processor. And he's like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that's what happened.
Called on
So he
us
comes down here.
Hello.
Yep, I see those papers.
Yeah.
So this is what you're trying to serve them with?
Yes. That's required by the court.
Again, the police agree that we are not breaking the law. They've been called out here for a false reason. This guy told me that he could even just serve the papers for me.
You okay if I give these papers to him?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, just give me 1 minute.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so now we get to the next section of this video. There we go. So now we get to the next portion of this one.
Are you okay if she just gives you the papers so we can just get
Have
her?
you looked at the papers? I've talked to the Kaiser Police Department. There's nothing filed. So no, I'm not accepting service from him.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It's fake.
Okay.
It's not real.
That's completely fine. You have that right?
Yeah.
Hold on. All right. What are you wanting done today? Besides, obviously, talk to...
As much as you humanly possibly can.
See, he went in to get a flannel, which having come from the Pacific Northwest, yeah, no, that checks out. On a day like today, you probably need it, especially since you're dealing with the police. It turns out they're not being called on you again and again, Ben. It turns out they're just in a regular conversation with the guy because he needs you out of the way so he doesn't get served these papers. That he cannot bring himself to believe they were real. I'm going to be honest. Josh genuinely thinks, especially after all the insane things you've done, he's convinced himself that you have a fake religion, that you did a fake state lottery. He doesn't believe anybody would do any of these things. So of course he doesn't believe these are real papers. You could literally, we're about to see that you could literally have confirmation that they are actual legit court papers, and he won't believe them.
Can screen charges. I'm open to screening charges through our attorney.
Yeah, instead of serving these court papers like the police officer promised me he would, this officer would rather screen all possible charges for me to see what random stuff they can make up about me.
No, Ben. They have been repeatedly told that you are harassing and stalking this innocent businessman. And again, as you saw earlier, he's making it clear that he has nothing to do with the business dealings that Mr. Mansell is mad about. He made his entire case to this particular officer that what he's being harassed for has nothing to do with him, and that he personally, this man who's probably known to the community and definitely the law enforcement community as an attorney, he's saying there's no way there's a real process server. Because we already said he minimizes lawsuit liability. We'll get there. I don't even know if he's an actual lawyer, but we'll get there. But it's one of those things where he's like, there's no way. These are 100% fake lawsuits. I've already called the police and seen it wasn't real. We'll see how that goes later. But he's told the entire story to the police, and to the police this sounds like a business deal gone wrong where this guy's barking up the wrong tree, and some out-of-town YouTuber shows up to harass a man who has nothing to do with what's going on. Similar to that lady who was talking on the court before, of this guy inherited the store, but he's got nothing to do with the mess, he's trying to clean it up. They have entirely convinced the police that they are in fact the victims, and they did so by making their side sound very reasonable, and leaving out the crucial details that make this less than savory.
I'm gonna go talk with him, give him his paper back, since you do not want this.
Can I just peek at it?
What was that?
Can I peek at it?
It kind of puts me in a little bit of a
never
bind.
mind. It's fake. There's no lawsuit in it.
Okay. So anyway,
Josh wanted to peek at it because he wanted to see if it truly was real. He wanted to start, preparing himself for it. But when the police officer said, that would put me in a weird position, Josh goes, he reassures himself. He goes, it has to be fake anyway. Why should I care? The police are agreeing with me that it has to be fake, right? Because that's what Josh is hearing. The police are more than willing to help him out because they don't believe this is real, even though it genuinely is. Because Josh's side sounds reasonable, and Ben's does not. Narcissists force you into unreasonable behavior to get an acceptable resolution, and then prey upon everybody else's reasonable nature in order to get good faith on their side. I want you to notice that even though he sounded like he was crying over the phone when they were on their way out, he's smiling ear to ear right now. Because what Josh is hearing is that these police officers are going to do exactly what he wants them to do and strong-arm Ben into leaving him alone. That he has successfully weaved a sad enough story that he will now stick to for as long as he can to make the police on his side and armored against any kind of explanation Ben can provide.
I'm going to give this back to him and trespass her.
Because here's the thing. When I think about this lot.
And here he is, trying to seal the deal, trying to finalize the framing of this in the mind of this officer. And you'll watch narcissists do this all the time when they're trying to talk somebody down who isn't a part of the problem. When they're trying to get somebody on their side, somebody they know a reasonable person would respect, or somebody who would think less of the opposition, if, in fact, they are able to be convinced of the narcissist's way, if they can turn seemingly reasonable, and I'm gonna restart the sentence for one reason alone. Narcissists believe that when they convince normal, reasonable people that their carefully curated version of the story is the truth, that they can successfully memory hole the parts they cut out, ostracize the people who remember those parts, and it's a promise that they will one day be able to forget this happened and pretend that it never happened at all. It's a promise that their control is coming back. After months of Ben backing them into a corner and getting them dead to rights on countless counts, they are finally back in control of the situation.
Do you think the process server would show up with a guy that's been harassing a YouTuber to serve papers in...
What does him being a YouTuber have to do with legal papers? It doesn't. It never did. It's all about discrediting him to the police. It is a thing they say to make the police take him less seriously, so they don't believe that, because YouTuber means pranks, and pranks means they're just messing with an innocent man who's trying to live his life. A young man on YouTube hoping for viral clicks. That's the narrative this is supposed to be setting. The police officer is a reasonable man trying to protect a man he believes is being victimized by some punk kid who thinks he's gonna get clicks. A punk kid from Cali who knows nothing of the innocent lives he's hurting. That's how the policeman sees this. He sees Ben as the heartless, cruel, idiotic moron hurting innocent people. Because that's how it was told to him, and that's what sounds reasonable.
Utah.
Josh knows that if he gets served these papers, it's going to be really bad for him.
No, he doesn't know that. I hate to break it to you, Ben. He doesn't know that at all. He just wants you to shut up and leave him alone. He is not thinking past keeping his story straight so the police do what he wants them to do. 100%. In this moment, he is very deep in character. He knows his lines, he knows the story he has to sell, and all he's trying to do is sell the police on you being a lunatic. And unfortunately, you are. So it's a really easy sell.
At this point, it seems like he's willing to make up any story he can to get us arrested before he gets served these papers.
They sent a lady in, and the lady's like, "Oh, I'm gonna murder you," to Amanda, the manager.
He believes this. He knows that it isn't what happened. He knows that's not how it went down. But he believes this is how it went down.
And now, Josh has just committed a felony, lying to the police officers about a false threat I made to get me arrested.
And if he's ever called on this, he'll say it didn't happen. That's why this was redacted in the original version. Keep in mind, these are the leaked footage. This is the unredacted footage. If it had stayed redacted, which I'm sure he's the one who asked for it to be redacted for his own safety, so his own words couldn't be used against him. Remember, because if you can't prove it happened, well, shoot. I don't have to remember what I said. And if I don't remember what I said, then I never said it. If I don't remember it, it never happened. As far as he was concerned in this moment, that was the truth. Whether it actually happened or not was completely inconsequential, because to him, this was true, and the moment it landed, he completely forgot he said it at all, because it got the results he wanted. That's how a narcissist works.
Is super duper illegal.
He called the store a billion times.
Because he was trying to get the Legos back, Josh, like you promised. And you know that because you were on the phone promising him his Legos. And then he started calling Brandon to get his Legos that you promised him. We have you documented as promising that you would absolutely return those Legos. Convenient you aren't telling the police about that conversation, Josh. Convenient that you're leaving out why he was calling. Because you don't remember those conversations at all, do you, Josh? Because if you remembered them, then you'd have to keep your word. Because you choose to believe you're a good person. Again, if I'm wrong and Josh isn't a narcissist, I'm barking up the wrong tree. Again, this is purely speculation based on my knowledge of narcissists and their habits. This is supposed to be educational, after all. I just enjoy clarifying the misunderstandings.
Threatened the employees. Yeah, process server's really gonna ride with the YouTuber. I mean, how stupid does he think I am?
Josh, you should have just given him the Legos, Josh. See, Josh doesn't understand that, honestly, regardless, because I'm going to say this. I know the details behind this person, according to Ben's presentation, and I'm not entirely convinced as to how that works, because I don't know if one needs a license to be a process server. I'm not that well versed. But let's assume that he did all of this and still brought a legally licensed process server with him. Of course, a frickin' process server would ride with the YouTuber that has to serve these papers. You are trying to convince yourself and the police, because this is body cam footage. You're trying to sell this mindset that he's just some YouTuber. You can't take a YouTuber seriously. They're just a bunch of punk kids in it for the viral clicks. You should have just given them the Legos, Josh. Hold on. I actually want to go back to that. Look at his face here.
I mean, how stupid does he think I am?
Wait for it, wait for it. I'm going to see if I can't find it. That look right there. That is the look of a narcissist in reflection. He doesn't care at this point about the conversation or the cops around him. He's waiting to see if he got the results he was after. That is a man who has now stepped off the stage and is waiting to see his performance reviews. He needs to know if the police still believe his version of the story, have discredited Ben, and are leaving with him in cuffs. Let's get back to the other video, because I imagine this is where the other video is now going to pick up.
Sadly, we can't see the police officer serve Josh because the police department redacted all of it. But the only thing that really matters is that
the police redacted it because technically this would count as service. Can't have you requesting this and then having it used to prove as proof of service. It would also be used as proof of the whole conversation, of the accusation that this was in fact not a process server. It's just a whole bunch of things that we just watched. So this is where it was redacted from.
that Josh is getting served.
He does not want the paper. So
He's not want the papers?
here's that back for you.
Okay.
Yeah, the police told me that they can't serve the papers for me because I'm lying to them, and these aren't even real court papers.
Not sure what this is. I've never seen something like that.
Police are allowed to lie to you. I fully believe he hasn't seen it before, but he has done no research on this. He's trying to call them fake papers because that's what he was told by the victim. And he's trying to lie to not only see if Ben is in fact lying, but also to try and get Ben to leave. They are still at this stage trying to just give the YouTuber an out. Make him realize they're not going to get the viral footage they're after, and send him on his way home. Because clearly, if they just keep giving him nothing, he'll have to get bored and go home at some point.
To be honest with you,
These are court papers.
okay, it doesn't have a judge's name or anything like that on it.
Because it hasn't gotten to the judge yet. So this is serving him, and then we'll go to the court, and then the judge will be there. So the judge doesn't get involved until we're in court.
Why is he saying that you guys were on the property?
Because he wants us arrested, so he doesn't have to go to court.
He's saying they went on the property because it was the only way to get you out here. Because he had you trespassed and he needs you arrested. He needs something he can use to discredit you. A list of crimes, a list of an arrest record, proof that he's being harassed. And the more he can get you arrested for not leaving him alone, the more he can prove that you are an active danger to him. because this keeps happening so clearly. He's fishing for evidence to reinforce his victim narrative. Let's continue.
Doesn't look good when you've been trespassed.
Yeah.
Trying to serve papers.
Well, I think it looks exactly how we're supposed to do it legally. This is the legal way to do it.
Well, we have 2 or 3 incidents.
Yeah, well, first, so they're incidents because he's lying to you guys. He's making them incidents. We came to do a good faith conversation, which is required by the courts before you can get a court case approved. So we did that. He called the cops on us. He lied to you guys saying that we had heroin on us, and we did a 3-hour search of the car yesterday. We found no heroin in the car. He's going to make up any lie he can to get us arrested. We are doing things the legal way, the correct way.
And that's what he doesn't understand. Why would you go through all of this trouble, all above the board, for some Legos? So he doesn't believe that you're doing this the legal way. Because why would you go through all this trouble? Why? You must be breaking the law. Why? Because he knows he's done some things that are against the law to get here. We'll get there later, but let's just start with what he's recounting here. Falsely reporting the heroin, repeatedly wasting police resources on a non-threat. These are all crimes. He's using the police to intimidate. And that's actually a thing. Calling into the police repeatedly as a form of coercion, that is a crime. Josh should know this, so he has to convince himself that you are doing the crimes he's telling them about. Because if you weren't doing those crimes, then what he's doing is illegal. And what have we discussed about narcissists and doing the bad thing? They can't admit that they're doing it. They cannot metabolize shame. And so they projectile vomit it all over their target. Let's continue.
The reason he's hiding in his house is because he's the criminal. If something doesn't look good, it doesn't look good for him, not for us.
Go the legal process,
Which is
find
what
an
we're
actual
doing, yeah.
process server.
She is an actual process server.
And what is your guys' relationship?
I just met her today.
Well, maybe just have someone not affiliated with you.
That's her, yeah, we have no relationship, that's why she's...
They have been told that these papers are fake, that Ben is repeatedly lying and harassing an innocent man. Of course they're not going to believe that. They've been told a compelling case that this is just some YouTuber coming to harass him. Of course a YouTuber would lie about this being a process server. Of course they'd lie to get out of trouble. They're just here to harass the man. That's the way the police see it.
Yeah, that's why she's here. We have no relationship, and that is who she is, the exact person that you were describing.
I always thought that the police were supposed to remain unbiased, and if they were going to take a side, they definitely shouldn't take the side of the criminal.
And that's why they're against you, Ben, because as far as they can tell, you're the criminal. Because, again, technically, Josh didn't do anything illegal involving the Legos. Whether he's done other illegal things since to shut you up, well, shoot, that's a different problem. But we'll get there.
But I guess I was wrong. However, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm literally just following the instructions of the court, so the police can't stop me.
Okay, see ya.
Now that the police are finally leaving, it's time to game plan how to serve Josh. But then, you guessed it, we got the police called on us again.
Not called on you again. This is not them getting called on you again. This is still the same initial call.
Sure. The paper? The serving paper?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Well? They think it's a false case? What the heck?
Alright, now we're going to jump back over to the other set of footage we have. There's a reason for that.
service papers. And the girl is like, she's like, oh no, I got to serve him these papers. Like they printed up a fake lawsuit, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah, do you think the process server would really be riding with the YouTube guy?
Yes, they would, Josh. So while they're talking over, you know, the paperwork with Ben, Josh is over here on the phone with somebody. He's on the phone with Ammon. You know that guy who in my previous videos I genuinely thought might not be a narcissist? He might have just been buying Josh's bullshit. Yeah, no, these conversations in these leaked body cam footages absolutely confirm for me that Ammon is a narcissist based on how he treats this, based on how he reaffirms the narrative, how he goes about it. But more so, we'll see one of those things that I absolutely just flag immediately as narcissistic tactics.
And deliver papers to a guy that he's been harassing.
Notice how he looked at the police officer. He had just gotten off the stage, was waiting for results, and then he called Ammon for emotional support and to have somebody, you know, reinforce to him that they've done nothing wrong. To tell him what's going on, to keep him up to date so they can all keep their story straight, but also just remind him that he's not the bad guy here. That, of course, Ben, like somebody needs to reaffirm to Josh that Ben didn't get a real process server, didn't actually sue them, isn't actually here for legal purposes. Okay? That's what Josh needs to believe. And he knows Ammon, who's equally in the same boat as him, will do all those same things, come to the same conclusion. And then he remembers the cops there, and he pivots into reminding them that it's like, yeah, some YouTuber is, you know, handing us false papers. Continuing his narrative because he remembers he has an audience.
Like, do you think I'm stupid?
Do you see that face? Do you see that face rub? That's not a relaxed face rub. That's not an amused face rub. That's a I need somebody to tell me I'm not crazy face rub. Because I've seen those before. That's a narcissist who's trying to settle the panic response.
I don't know what to do, man.
So, did you call the police again?
I just don't know what to do, man. I'm done with these guys.
I don't know what to do. I'm done with these guys. He's telling his fellow narcissists, like, look, I don't know what else to do other than doubling and tripling down on what we've been doing because he won't go away. That's him admitting it's like, I'm done trying to figure out how to do this the normal way because I can't deal with this anymore. It's him openly having the collapse to a fellow narcissist. It's like, look, my internal narrative is falling apart. I can't keep facing what we did. I need to forget it. I cannot metabolize this shame I'm being force-fed. I need this to go away. And to me, this is the admission that Josh is out of cards to play. Using the police the way he is his Hail Mary. If he cannot use the legal system to stop Ben, he's going to have a total psychological breakdown. He's hiding it well, because narcissists always do, but he's hiding it well because he's currently in control. As far as he knows, the police are on point. He needs the legal system to shut him up. He's tired of hearing about this. He needs this to not just go away now, he needs this to go away forever. And Ammon is understanding this. Ammon is understanding that his lead, his asset, his fellow narcissist on this, is close to cracking. He's going to have a meltdown, which will blow the lid on the whole damn thing, make it all harder on everybody. Watch as Ammon doesn't just take lead on this situation, but goes into what I've referred to again as the narcissist arms race.
We're ready and willing to arrest these individuals for Utah statutes for cyberbullying and digital stalking because they're using electronic means for communication and coordinating their stalking.
Oh, it's digital stalking, not stalking.
It's all of the above.
It's actually none of the above. But these are two narcissists grasping at straws looking for anything to hunt this guy down with. And theoretically, one could try to make this case. But I wouldn't want Ben talking in a court of law.
But because they're continuing to use, like additional tactics and other things like that, thinking that they're being cute and what.
Thinking that they're being cute. That's a narcissist that's pissed the fuck off that you haven't left yet. Remember our last conversation with Ammon? This isn't your business. As far as Ammon is concerned, Ben shouldn't be here. Ben should have already left. Ben has no business here. He is not a party to what happened, what went wrong, and Ammon cannot for the life of him figure out why this isn't going away. And he's pissed off because Ben isn't doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing a bunch of things that draw way more attention to this than he wants. Keep in mind, this is the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs. When Ben's little sign stunt went off and went viral and everybody saw the banner saying these people stole from the old man and permanently closed a store because of it, that got under Ammon's skin. That was a declaration of war against the company itself. Ammon has been putting out this social media fire ever since. All of this over some frickin' Legos and some stupid YouTuber who's doing impossible crap that prevents him from burying this, prevents it. It's creating a PR disaster. I am 100% sure this is Ammon already having gotten calls from local franchise owners, all saying, why are we hearing about this? What's this about stolen Legos? This was supposed to be a small gig, and now he is pissed. Ammon needs Ben to stop, but he doesn't just need Ben to stop. He needs to make an example. And you're going to see him do this. Watch as he talks in this video.
Can't continue, so somebody has to be arrested to show that they can't continue to do this.
Somebody has to be arrested to show they can't continue to do this. In this moment, Ammon has decided that if this is war, he is going to make a public display out of Ben. The same way that Ben made a public display out of their storefront. This is a man out for blood.
Now we're just kind of wanting to know what you want done on this. As much as we humanly possibly can.
As much as you possibly can.
He's going to submit, have a screen for charges with our prosecutors, right, with our city prosecutors.
Okay, now we're back to where they came back with the papers after screening and finding out they were real.
Very adamant that he wants to serve you with papers, okay?
That's fake. That's illegal. You can't pretend to be a process server.
So,
you can't. It's illegal. That's fake. It is a lie. She's impersonating a process server.
Impersonating an officer of the court, that carries some, it's pretty significant.
Again, I don't know if she's technically doing that, because I don't think process servers are agents of the court. I don't think that's technically what that is, but I also think that if that was of a concern, Ben would have taken more steps. Like, he would have gone through proper channels. Like, this is... With everything he's been through up to this point in time, with his actual, like, making his own religion and that state lottery thing... I'm pretty sure he would have looked into that. So, one, I don't think process servers are technically agents of the court. Somebody correct me in the comments if they are, and give me citation to the code on that one, because I don't know. But I also genuinely don't think she's not a process server. And let's assume that this was just a slight misunderstanding of the law in this particular case, and that she isn't, in fact, a process server. She is still an agent working on behalf of Ben to serve papers to somebody he has legal paperwork out against. So, even if she is not licensed, which I don't think you need a license for it, but we'll get there, even if she's not a licensed process server, she is still operating in the role of a process server to deliver legit paperwork. So, no matter what they say, I genuinely don't think a crime is committing here. I don't think that's what's happening. Even if you were to really fudge it around and assume a few things were muddier than they needed to be, they're grasping at straws. They're trying to punish her for helping Ben. Somebody he met 10 minutes before heading out to deliver these papers, they're trying to punish her because she is operating as a resource and an asset that Ben can use to, again, keep them from forgetting that they've done this.
Yeah, you can't pretend to be a process server. Sorry. Yeah, you can't. That's got to be illegal.
You notice how he said it's got to be illegal. He doesn't know. He doesn't know if they count as an agent of the court or not. But you see how they're making their case yet again to one of the officers? They're not waiting to deal with this until the officers are gone. There's a reason for that. It's because if they can keep the officers convinced that they're the innocent victims in this, then it doesn't matter what Ben says. It doesn't matter how legit his paperwork is. They have already poisoned the well that this is some YouTuber on a stunt. They're treating Ben like he's like Mr. Beast, and Mr. Beast is just going to sue, instead of giving sight back to 1,000 African children, he's going to sue 1,000 random Lego employees. Like, that's how they see it. And that's how the narcissists want them to see it. The more they can make Ben seem as outlandish as he technically is, the better their more reasonable presentation of the facts seems, and the less people will dig into the reasonable story. They're not asking themselves why Ben is acting like a lunatic. They are asking themselves how do they stop him from acting like a lunatic, which is exactly the sort of thing narcissists love to thrive on.
And that's, like I say, he's getting combining charges.
It's a Class A misdemeanor to impersonate a process server in the state of Utah.
So,
I'm gonna please somebody give me citation to this code, because I don't know if that's really a thing, but I also don't know if she was licensed or not, or if she needs a license, or if she qualifies or not. I'm half inclined, if he's pointing it directly to the police officer, one of two things is going. Either there is actually a code for this, and he's trying to, again, poison the mind of the police to go, look, he's doing illegal things. Don't look into what I'm doing. But also, he could just be pointing out to impersonating an agent of the court and trying to associate process servers, which is still, that would be a poison pill that may or may not be accurate. But the point is, for the narcissistic speculation here, the educational purposes here, it doesn't matter which one it is. What matters is when he says it in this moment, it isn't because he remembers it or that he'll do it later. It is entirely to confirm for himself that he's not the bad guy and to convince the police that he's the victim. Once this conversation is done, he will only ever remember this when confronted on the matter.
Right now, I want her arrested for impersonating the process.
And right there we have why. I want her arrested for impersonating the process server. And impersonating the process server was secondary. He looked into this right here and right now because he wants her arrested. Why? Because she is helping the man who will not go away. He wants to punish anybody helping him, destroy his network, undermine them. I wonder why he would want to discredit Ben. Oh, what was I saying before? Right, it isn't about the Legos for them anymore. They need to discredit him and shut him up. They need to present him as unreasonable and insane and make it so they can easily brush under the rug everything he said and done. Paint him as an unreasonable, lying YouTuber doing this for the clicks, and punish anyone who wants to back him up.
So right now,
I can't just go and pretend. I can't go print up fake documents and go try to process serve people.
Yeah. You're right. Be a shame if those documents were real.
That's illegal.
so these papers that you printed up are
fake. Yes, 1 billion, trillion, gazillion %.
Again, this is Ammon. I'm with the corporate office.
This is the CEO.
Like I said, at this point in time, this is happening probably after they initially returned his papers. We're going to expect them to go back and double-check the legitimacy of this. So this was during and after his conversation with Ben about the paperwork not being real.
Oh, hi. So what's happened is we had a former franchisee, Mr. Schneider.
And now Ammon is repeating the narrative. Watch the details.
Is just a YouTuber that got a hold of the story and then went to this guy and said, hey, if I can harass these guys...
They are accusing Ben of choosing to harass them intentionally. For what?
I can do some stuff and get some money out of them. Will you pay me some of that money?
If I harass them, would you pay me the money? Now, they've already been primed that this is a YouTuber. They've already been primed that he's been harassing them because there's multiple incident reports. They've been primed that he's not even from the area. He's not even a local. Now they're being told by the CEO of an otherwise reputable company that Ben's just doing this for money. That this is a greedy, corrupt YouTuber, not just doing it for the viral views, but as a cut of money from a deal that he has nothing to do with. Further poisoning the well. And this is what I mean by Ammon is using the narcissist arms race. Until this moment, the police were convinced this was just some dumb kid trying to do this for viral clicks. Now they're being told that it is through corruption and for a quick buck. The moral stance that Ben could take has been undercut by a misrepresentation of the facts. From somebody who doesn't care if what he's saying is true. He cares that Ben goes away and is discredited. I'm willing to bet after this was done, Ammon will claim he doesn't remember having this conversation.
And that's what they're trying to do, is the individual who actually owes the money left the United States.
And there's the other part of it. Oh, the person who actually owes the money, even though we have a corporate spokesman that said that we owe them the money, yeah, they're already gone. That's why they have to come after us. We are innocent victims cleaning up after her mess. We'll get into her later in the part 2 video. Right now, this is the leaked body cam footage. But do you see the point? See the game plan here? We have nothing to do with what Ben wants, and all he cares about is money. He is a YouTuber from out of state who came here to try and bully, coerce, and extort us for cash. Why do I say extort? Because it's what Ammon said in his last conversation with Ben in person.
And now Ammon has just committed obstruction by lying to the police officers.
He created a fake contract, forged a manager's signature up there.
It wasn't a fake contract, and it wasn't a forged signature. But they have to believe it was.
Threatened to kill her.
Repeated the lie about a threat to kill the manager. Well, now 2 people have said it. Surely it's real. Surely 2 people of prominent status in a company wouldn't lie about a death threat to one of their managers. And again, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. They forgot it as soon as it stopped being useful.
I didn't signed no agreement. I'm not beholden to somebody else's.
Listen to this. He's repeating his story. Why? Because he's being forced to feel the shame. He knows what he did. He knows Ben is here for a legit purpose. And he cannot accept the shame, because to give Ben what he wants would be to admit that he screwed over this family. And so he has to repeat to himself what is technically true, but morally wrong. I'm not responsible. It's your bad contract with somebody that we pushed out of the business. You should solve that with her. We're innocent. We didn't sign that. I'm not responsible for that. Leave me alone and sort it out amongst yourselves. Because if I'm not forced to remember it, it didn't happen, and I can move forward with my life. And so now he's repeating his own excuses to himself out loud. Notice he's not making eye contact with the officer here. Notice the anxious, closed-off posture, the crossed-over ankles. He's stressed because he knows what he did, and he has to remind himself that what he did wasn't illegal. Because if he can't convince himself what he did wasn't illegal, he'll have to feel shame for what he did. And he literally, biologically, cannot metabolize shame. So he has to offload it. Ben shouldn't be here. I didn't do anything. I didn't steal you. I'm willing to bet you cash money his eyes are lingering on that sign across the street right now. Or at least he glanced over at it before he looked down at his pavement. Because he sees the accusation that he stole an old man's life savings, and he knows somewhere deep in his heart that it is technically true, but that he did it in an entirely legal way, and that until Ben came along, he had been able to comfortably live with himself by pretending it never happened.
Stupid as him. I like how he can just lie to you guys. Just straight face.
Look at those eyes. They're like a doll's eyes. He's looking for confirmation from the officer that Ben is lying. He's telling the officer what he wants the truth to be. Because if Ben's not lying, then he did something bad.
He owes me $200,000.
And now he's smiling and laughing. Not because it's actually funny, but because he's trying to soothe himself. He's stressed the frick out. He's trying to pretend this isn't real, pretend this isn't happening, pretend he didn't do what he did. He's trying to make himself forget. I've seen this look before. When a narcissist was trying to double-check that I believed their narrative. And I just smiled and nodded along and didn't say one thing or the other. Because that's what you do when a narcissist is trying to confirm that you believe their narrative. You play along. You don't challenge them. You let them think they've gotten away with it. And then you quietly disengage. Again, I don't recommend what Reckless Ben has done here, and everything I'm saying here is mere speculation based on my experience dealing with narcissists. It's not my fault that their behavior happens to align quite heavily with my experience dealing with them. But I am not a medical professional, I cannot clinically diagnose these people, and I am merely assessing based on my own personal experience. So, pure speculation for educational purposes. Let's continue.
I'll check with the court, see if it's a valid civil case that he's trying to push through, and we'll go about it that way, okay?
Thank you for holding. How can I help you?
Trying to speak with someone to verify if a case is, just verify if a case is real.
Yeah, looks like a real small claims case in our court.
Okay, thank you for your help.
That's all for today. Thank you.
And after this phone call, I guess the police officers turned off the microphone on their body cam because I guess they really didn't want literally anyone to hear this. Even if someone gets a hold of the unredacted stuff, not even we now can get it to hear what these police officers are saying. But anyways, the police officer ends up going back.
I can probably explain what's going on in the police officer's head. Because as far as things go moving forward, it's clear the police absolutely bought into the narrative that Ben is a YouTuber, in it for the money, working... In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Mansell has in fact gotten all kinds of trouble out of this. But this is a greedy YouTuber working for Mr. Mansell, trying to coerce and extort an innocent man. And that police officer was most likely spending that time going, are you kidding me? He's doing an actual frickin' personal civil suit. Probably because he didn't get paid by Mr. Mansell, but this is all over money. He's trying to extort an innocent man out of money. This scumbag. This stupid YouTuber from Cali who thinks about nothing but money. Nothing about the lives he's ruining. He's torturing an innocent man and putting him through hell. And he's willing to go through proper legal channels to try and coerce and extort this man. And he probably spent a great deal of time, whether fellow police were there or not. He muted his mic probably because he had to sit here and just talk to himself about it. He had to process his own anger over this, his own outrage. Because the story he had been fed is this man is willing to threaten innocent workers. He's willing to extort an entire company, all over something that didn't involve him, not caring about the fact that this has nothing to do with the innocent shop owners that took over. This police officer has been pulled in as a true believer into this entirely false narrative. He doesn't understand what was done to Mr. Mansell, he doesn't understand what was done to Crystal, the store owner, and he doesn't care in this moment. He's been fed a reasonable story that paints this man who is in obvious distress as the victim. Because if there's one thing about this video that is true, Josh is in distress. This is a man who genuinely believes he is under attack. This is not a man who's on the aggressive. This is not a heartless monster of a... Well, that's debatable. But either way, the distress here is very real. It'll gauge by all normal people as genuine distress. He genuinely feels he's the victim. Any normal person looking on will be able to tell this is somebody who's on the brink of tears. They are traumatized by what they're going through. I promise you, the reason why that was muted is the officer didn't want on record him swearing under his breath, cussing out this YouTuber, and embittering his heart against Ben, which is exactly what the narcissists want. They want you to buy the narrative so heavily that you will do all the heavy lifting in punishing people for them. That way, they don't have to deal with it, they don't have to remember it, and they can go back to pretending it never happened. Because if they don't remember it, it didn't happen. Back to what we were doing.
To talk to Josh.
They're screening some charges, okay?
Yeah.
But we're just kind of working through. It looks like this is a real case. It just hasn't gone to court, okay?
It's a real case. Who's it against?
Against you, him versus you.
Ben Snyder?
Mm-hmm.
What an idiot.
So...
he has to convince himself Ben is stupid. That there's no way this could work or was real. There's no grounds for it. Ben doesn't have a claim against them. What could he possibly be suing over? This sounds really frickin' dumb. Unfortunately for Josh, that would make that a civil matter, meaning he can't use the police to solve it.
I mean, he's just racking up the charges, and
So basically the consensus is we were all wrong here. However, let's just arrest Ben anyways.
No, the consensus is that you, as far as they are concerned, is a YouTuber harassing and cyberstalking this poor innocent businessman who did nothing wrong, and you are now hitting him with a lawsuit to try and get your buck. That's how they see it. In their version of the story, you're the bad guy bending the law to punish an innocent man.
Like, letting them go cannot be an option here, guys.
And this is why I say Ammon is definitely a narcissist. Because they want to, the cops are basically saying, we don't like it, but he is being legal here. We don't have grounds for it. We're running it down the list, but the most we can probably do is just tell him to get out. Maybe get a restraining order on him, that kind of thing. Because that's what's like, not arresting him can't be an option, is what Ammon said, which means they were trying to suggest, like, here's some of the things we can do that would give you the distance you need and prevent him from messing with you. Ammon is escalating. As I said, Ammon wants Ben's head on a pike. Because Ammon is the CEO, and his brand is being damaged by something that he shouldn't have to field in the first place, and he thought was already resolved.
Like, there's got to be something for cyberstalking, bullying, like all of the different things. Like, there's got to be something to arrest them and send a message that this is not appropriate, this is not okay.
This is not appropriate. This is not okay. This is your Starship Trooper moment of it's afraid. Ben didn't go through the proper channels. Ammon was supposed to have 3 layers of people he could throw under the bus before any of this stuff started happening. And Ben bypassed all of the intended routes that Ammon had booby-trapped and has gone directly to personal lawsuits against Josh and Brandon. Honestly, Ben should be trying to sue Ammon on top of this too. But Ammon's too far from the problem, so there's not really much grounding there, unless he can get Josh and Brandon to flip on Ammon. Because this proves Ammon is the one spearheading the entire campaign to weaponize the police to prosecute, intimidate, and coerce Ben. This is my evidence, if he's a narcissist, that Ammon is absolutely weaponizing the police against a fellow civilian to disincentivize investigating his crimes. Because if there is somebody who's liable that is in fact not the person, well, it would be Ammon. And you might go, what do you mean it's Ammon? In his own released documentation on the FAQ, he says that he's still more than happy to open up channels of compensation to Mr. Mansell's family for the confusion. In his own public statements, he said he's more than willing to give him back what Legos they can and reimburse him for the Legos. This isn't about Mansell to Ammon anymore. This is about Ben. This is about making sure no other YouTuber ever gets so uppity that they try and take him and hold him accountable for his shady business practices. Legal though they may be, they are shady, and he needs to let people know you can't just use shady tactics to defeat a shady businessman. This is so one of those, I want his mother dead. I want his brother dead. I want his whole family dead. This is some mafia boss level nonsense. Ammon is done. From the moment that hung poster went viral, Ammon wanted Ben's head on a pike. Josh was willing to do it if Ben approached his estate, because that's front face-to-face confrontation. I am 100% sure at this stage that Ammon is the one spearheading the use of the police.
I'm in agreement with you. Again, that's why we're kind of working through this right now.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna find you back.
Am I being arrested?
You're under arrest right now.
Really?
All right. Spoilers for us going back to the other video. But I want you to understand. Ben is being made an example of. Not by the police. Well, through the police, but by Ammon, the CEO of Bricks and Minifigs. According to my speculation, anyway. No formal accusations are being made, just by the logic of if he's a narcissist, that's what's going on. If he is. If you can medically prove it, this is most likely what's going on. But it is still, again, speculation for educational purposes.
Thank you for holding. How can I help you? Trying to speak with someone to verify if a case is, just verify if a case is real. Yeah, looks like a real small claims case in our court. Okay, thank you for your help. That's all. Thank you.
I think this phone call was the breaking point for the police.
Oh, he's rubbing his chin.
The police couldn't handle the fact that I was right and they were wrong.
Hello. Okay.
Okay. We're gonna find you back.
Am I being arrested?
You're under arrest right now.
Really?
Ben got arrested. Like, they didn't say anything when they were putting him in handcuffs. They just said, you're being arrested.
Which violates his
What I was
rights.
being arrested for. I mean, the same police officers that arrested me gave me permission to do exactly what I was doing.
You can film from the sidewalk wherever it's public, right? But you can't go on that property. If you do, you'll be charged, okay? Okay, yeah, for sure.
I got arrested for just doing what the police told me to do. What's even more confusing is the police are supposed to be the good guys. Why are they arresting an innocent person to protect an evil criminal?
Because as far as they're concerned, you're the criminal. Oh, by the way, there is a little bit more of that body cam footage. I was waiting to show that part first.
I love you. I love you. Oh, there we go. I love you.
That is the look of a man who just thinks this is over now. 'Cause why, after getting arrested for trying to serve him papers, would you keep coming back? An example has been made, right?
Okay, I love you. I love you.
And now he's even poisoned the well further, because look at that relief on his face. That is an innocent man who can live his life free of harassment. A man who can finally go back to just doing business and washing all of this as water under the bridge, never again having to remember the bullcrap that just happened to him. That's a job well done in the eyes of that police officer. We'll get to that in a minute. But that's what's going on here. In the eyes of the police, they just saved an innocent man, who was oh so thankful to them, from a serial harasser. Okay? And that's exactly how the narcissist wants it to be. That's how he wants them to remember it. That's how he needs the narrative to be. So keep in mind, moving forward to everything else that happens to Ben, that's where the police are coming from. You are a greedy, out-of-state YouTuber who's lying about everything, and is mostly, it's not even about whether what you're saying is true or not anymore. What matters is that you're here torturing an innocent man for a quick buck. And so everything they do moving forward is to punish you for being a greedy, selfish, trend-seeking, lying, slandering scumbag who came to their town to harass an innocent man over something he had nothing to do with. As far as they're concerned, they're the heroes. And this is what makes narcissists so fucking dangerous. because they will get true, good, wonderful, loving human beings in on a complete fabrication. They will leave out all the parts that make this worse than it needs to be, and they will amplify and lie to make sure that all the good, decent people with the zeal in their heart for justice don't actually look for where the crime is coming from. They feed you the reasonable sob story, and if you're a decent person, you'll never dig deeper.
Back when I was still waiting in the car to serve Josh, I got a phone call, and this call was from Brian, the collector's son, who got all their stuff stolen. And he has a theory of what might be going on here.
Yeah, the cops down there are definitely all in with the Mormon community, and being the Bricks and Minifigs is part of that and worth millions. I would not doubt that they have donated hefty sums to the Mormon church.
And this is the second order effect of narcissistic lying. Because surely, due to the lack of control over the information a narcissist is providing, how compelling they can be, you go, surely, if we're doing all the things we're supposed to be doing, there must be corruption. There has to be all these people who benefit from it. And now, you, the innocent person who didn't do anything wrong and is being lied about by the narcissist, your ability to trust anybody has been tainted and damaged. So first, they discredit you, make you look like the crazy person. And then when all the reasonable and good people treat you like a crazy person, you begin to think that they all must be in on it and must all be trying to discredit you. Not that they all believe a seemingly compelling thing. No. It's not that they've been poisoned to believe something that has been carefully curated by the narcissist. Surely all of them are looking into this in earnest, taking it seriously like you did, and know all the things you know. Clearly, this has to be corruption. I want to make this clear to the American Fork Police Department. I don't think you guys are corrupt. I think you were taken in by a very charismatic narcissist who sold you a very compelling bill of health on a civil matter and is trying his best to weaponize you against somebody trying to get justice through the legal system, even if it's in very outlandish ways.
Of which all the cops are probably a part of.
Yeah, Brandon Best, Joshua Johnson, and Eamon, the CEO, are all super Mormon. Like, the CEO even went to the Mormon University. And when I looked up all the police officers who were treating me unfairly, they were all Mormon too.
And they take care of their own, man. They're like a huge clan that takes care of each other.
And instead of trying to get rid of the few bad people who are making Mormonism look bad, they're for some reason choosing to protect these criminals. But
not for some reason. Again, as far as the police are concerned, you're the bad guy.
Eventually, I got released from jail.
Out of jail now?
And this is when it really hit me that the justice system has decided to protect these criminals. So now, there's really only one way I can think of to get this family the money back that got stolen.
And there you go. Damage to his faith in the justice system. Why? Because the justice system was told that he was the bad guy. Why was it told that? Because a narcissist made a very compelling case that he's the victim. Or so I'm speculating. See, again, I don't think this is what people think it is. I think it's far dumber, because it's got narcissists in the middle of it.
Stolen from them, which is a GoFundMe. Yeah, it is a pretty anticlimactic ending, but at least I'm confident that I'm not going to get in trouble for this. Now that our GoFundMe is live, it's time to promote it, to start getting donations. We printed out the GoFundMe's picture to hang it up so we could get a nice Instagram video to post to social media. But before the group could even hang the picture up, the police came.
What you guys up to?
We're starting a GoFundMe. What we're doing is we're going to get a bunch of publicity to get basically all this money back for this family. You know, we're not going to do the lawsuit anymore. We're just going to do this GoFundMe. We've already got it started.
It can run into some defamation stuff.
Again, the police were thinking of any technicality they could think of to
Again, they think you're extorting, emotionally and psychologically torturing an innocent man. They think you're just in this for a quick buck, and starting a GoFundMe reinforces to them that this has always been about money for you. That it was never about the Legos or the victimized family, especially because it looks like you're doing this, again, across from his house. Doesn't matter if it's a public space or not. You're here, where you are, in his neighborhood, Josh's neighborhood, posting up something, accusing him of something heinous that can destroy his reputation, putting it in a place he can most likely see it, and it's all about money. What are they supposed to think?
protect their Mormon friends.
Look at your stalking code. See if it's that. If it's not, we're going to look at disorderly. If it's not disorderly, then we're going to look at the city ordinance.
Because they see this as a YouTuber harassing a man, and they're trying to punish you until you leave the poor innocent soul alone.
After going through every law they could think of, it turns out that hanging this sign on a fence and then taking a picture of it for Instagram is not illegal. In fact, what the group is doing is actually protected under the First Amendment, freedom of speech. So one of the police officers let the group know that they were okay to keep doing this.
Right now, I don't think you guys break the law.
But this other police officer wasn't able to accept this reality.
Why would he be able to? As far as they are concerned, you are a greedy, out-of-town YouTuber torturing a man for views and money, destroying his livelihood and reputation. At this stage, they are already convinced you're the villain. And there is no amount of legality between you and harassing somebody that they will not try and find a way around. They're going to use qualified immunity to keep hurting you until you stop hurting an innocent man. They believe they are accomplishing justice.
We're gonna take it down.
And then for the rest of this footage, the police redacted all of the audio. So I called up the police station to find out why.
All the redactions are done pursuant to the Utah State Code. We don't redact things just because we feel like it or, just because something looks funny. Everything is redacted pursuant to Utah State Code. And other than that, I can't really delve into any more detail.
But the police made a mistake. They accidentally forgot to mute this police officer's audio, so when you sync the two clips together, I can actually hear what they're saying here.
He sees it or give back? Is it an indication of crime? Is it disorderly conduct? Why? Is he upset about it? I mean, I guess, but that's not.
Yeah.
Again, this might be the actual first moment of corruption in the traditional sense of the word. But by now, they have already assessed that you're the bad guy. This redaction was, in fact, probably not, entirely legal. But since they're trying to do this for the sake of an innocent man being tortured, they don't mind fudging the rules, especially because they're convinced you already are. They just can't prove you've broken the law yet, and they're trying to make you stop and leave a man alone. So yeah, this is probably, in this video, the first case of true, actual police corruption. And it's all after they've already decided that you need to stop and you need to go. That they are the good guys and that they need to stop you. The whole police force, because it's only about 22 people, by now, they've all heard the story and they are all covering for it. Because they want you gone and to leave this innocent man alone. They're tired of getting calls about it. They're tired of getting called out here over and over and over because you can't leave this man alone, all in a matter of a business that doesn't involve him. He has a very compelling case, and you're doing it as an out-of-towner for views and money. As far as they're concerned, this is justice. Their qualified immunity lets them get away with it, too. That's the way they see it. This is in pursuant to justice. They don't understand what it is that's gone on, and up to this point in time, they are so immensely convinced that they are the heroes that you're not going to be able to convince them otherwise. I'd love to link them my series. Truly, I would. I would absolutely love to link to the American Fork Police, my Narcissist theater on everything that's gone on. I hesitate, but I'd like to. Because I think the American Fork Police Department needs to see this. Again, what I'm saying is pure speculation, and they're welcome to agree or disagree with it. And again, I'm speculating based on my experience dealing with narcissists. This is not a medical diagnosis. But the way it aligns with the facts, the way it aligns with what's been presented, the way it aligns with how they're approaching it, if they look at how, and I'm guaranteeing, even to this day, Ammon is adamant that they need to absolutely ream Ben over all this. They need to drag him through the coals, and I'm sure most of the police force is okay with that. They're fine with that, because he's a greedy YouTuber, out for money. Money and clicks. But I don't think they understand what's really going on, and I think that's the point. We're going to keep going.
This police officer is right. Just because this might...
And by the by, if I do end up sending this to you guys, I want to ask for your permission to leave this up with the leaked body cam footage. And I want your permission to leave it up with the leaked body cam footage because I genuinely believe that what got leaked, the things you redacted, actually exonerate your entire police department. Truly I do. I think that when people see the line you were fed, the way it was presented, the way it was spoken of, I genuinely think that this looks good on you guys. I understand if you want to take it down. I understand the complications for that. So if I wake up one day and it's taken down, I get that. But I mean from the bottom of my heart, I don't think you guys are bad people. I'm not accusing you of corruption. I'm not accusing you of anything. I think you were taken in by a bunch of narcissists who did something that was technically legal, but morally reprehensible. And that you were sold a bad bill on that. That these are corrupt men who know exactly what they did, and the only reason they spin a sob story to you is so you can help them cover it up. It's not your fault.
It make Josh upset does not make this poster illegal. So I decided to let the police department know that some of the redactions they made aren't exactly what they're claiming they are.
I think you guys might have accidentally forgot to redact another clip that was at the same time, and when I synced the two clips together, I was able to see what they were saying, like what the redaction was, and he was talking about how what we're doing actually isn't illegal and how the police officer might be wrong. And so it wasn't about protecting a victim, it wasn't any personal information, and so I was wondering, it seems like there might be a lot of stuff like that got redacted, maybe to protect the police officers, not to protect the victims, if that makes sense. And so...
Yeah, we don't do that. So, like I said, anything that's redacted is pursuant to Utah State Code.
I can tell because when I sync the two clips together, I'm actually able to see that that's what the redaction was.
Okay, well, that didn't happen.
That definitely didn't happen?
No, I don't do that, Ben. I follow the Utah State Code, like I just said.
Again, might be the first case of actual corruption. We don't hear from this woman enough for me to assess her, but she is following the if I don't remember it didn't happen line of logic, so I don't know. This could also just be her covering for their attempts at justice. She knows what she did was corruption, but she's also dealing with a YouTuber she knows is lying and extorting an innocent man for money. I think, based on her tone, she's not a very good liar. She's just sticking to the official stance, which is fair. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. So I'm gonna say for now, we're gonna leave her out of this. But that this might be the only case of out-and-out corruption I've seen up to this point, and all of it after they've already been convinced he is a lying, extorting, greedy YouTuber who's torturing an innocent man.
Okay.
I don't know. It seems like the police department redacted this entire conversation because right here the police are actually admitting to themselves that none of this is illegal, but they're still going to try to arrest us anyways. It seems like the only reason they're getting rid of this audio is to protect the police officers from getting fired. I don't know what the police officers are saying in this next clip, but I'm pretty sure they're scheming up a way to get the group arrested, because this is what happens next.
And Lieutenant Adamson can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to seize your phone right now.
Do not do that. You understand me? Right now you're attempting to destroy evidence. Okay? Put your hands behind your back.
I want to take this in context here. They know they're YouTubers, or at least connected to one. You're destroying evidence, that was clearly an offhand excuse for a reflexive action. In fact, I don't even think that he fully processed it was a phone. I don't. But let's assume he did, because it's possible. That's me probably giving the police officer too much benefit of the doubt. But the other thing that he would probably be afraid they were going to do is record him. Because if you're a greedy, extortioning YouTuber who's in it for the clicks and the money, do you know how viral a trend it is right now to record police doing things and then claim you're the victim? Ho-ho, way too much. So yeah, no, that was probably to try and protect his reputation. He probably thought you were pulling it out to record him. That'll come back up later.
I was just locking my phone.
Okay, I'm gonna switch over to the police
Like I said, you're destroying evidence was probably an offhand comment. That was to justify the aggression with which he took it away. And probably also to justify taking it, but that's a separate thing. He probably also believes there's somehow, like, incriminating evidence of text message conversations proving, hey, let's harass this man for money. Or at least he's hoping for it. He probably doesn't believe it's there, but he might be hoping for it.
officer's body cam POV so we can dissect what just happened. First, the police officer asks if he can confiscate Sheldon's phone, so Sheldon says, okay, and reaches in his pocket to give it to him. But at this point, Sheldon sees that his phone is unlocked, and at this moment, he decided that before giving it to the police officer, he was going to lock his phone, which is totally legal. There's no search warrant, so Sheldon is legally allowed to lock his phone. But as the police officer saw...
Yeah, watching this in slow motion, look at where his thumb is. This cop 100% thought he was about to be recorded and was trying to stop that from happening.
Sheldon's thumb moving towards that lock button, he snatched it out of his hands, and now the police officer's claiming that because he tried to lock his phone, he's destroying evidence.
Silence.
Yeah, I was giving it to you.
Stop talking.
I was
Stop
giving
talking,
it to you.
Okay?
It's
That's
on
a
my
problem.
it's on my money. Look, it's
Okay.
on my wallet.
Okay,
I was
but-
turning it off.
But right now, this phone is being seized as part of this investigation, and you're being arrested. Okay? Let's put him in the back of the car.
And again, the police decided to break the law, arrest Sheldon, all to protect an evil criminal.
They are arresting him, looking for evidence that this was an attempt at harassment, stalking, and extortion of an innocent man. They're trying to make an example out of you. Because that's what seems reasonable when a greedy, out-of-town YouTuber is harassing an innocent businessman. Again, I don't think the police are actually... How do I explain this? I think the police actively think they're enforcing justice. And they don't realize they've been roped into a corruption scheme.
Okay. My name's Detective Nikosha. I work with the police department.
I did willingly hand over my phone, but when I handed him my phone, my wallet popped up. So I said, hold up, let me hit my power button. And I have it recorded as well. That's all I went and did. That's not obstruction of evidence. And then I let him have the phone. I wasn't trying to delete anything. In fact, it is actually impossible to delete something from an iPhone from a locked screen by hitting the power button. So in no context could I have been trying to erase something by hitting one button on my phone. Now I'm sure you have a phone as well. When you hit the power button, that doesn't delete anything, does it?
I wouldn't, yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I did. So I don't know how that's obstruction of evidence, but that is what it is.
Now that Sheldon is in jail just for promoting our GoFundMe, we started doubting if we'll ever even be able to get Brian his money back for his dad's Lego collection. It's crazy that out of all the powerful organizations I've gone up against, the one company I'm not able to beat is a Lego company. I literally couldn't have imagined a worse ending for this video. But I had no clue that it was about to get way worse.
And now we go back to the last bit of the body cam footage. For context.
Before we enter the property, the cop warns all the other police officers to make sure we are not filming.
Hey, they're probably going to be quick to film. They're probably going to be quick to pull their phones out, so just be aware of that.
However, when we got raided, I instantly pressed the record button on my phone because I was terrified these police officers were going to do something and try and hide it from the public. But I guess the police officer sees that I'm filming, and once he sees I'm filming, I think he was like, as punishment for filming me, I'm going to bend your arm back upwards and injure you, is my guess of what happened.
All right, so we're going to go back to the other video real quick for this. But I want you to keep that in mind. This is why I think what happened is he was afraid he was getting recorded. Because they know they're doing something to try and penalize you. They're bending the rules to make sure you don't keep harassing an innocent man. That's their perspective anyway. We're going to get into what's going on and why this raid happened in this video over here, but you need to understand that they understand you're a YouTuber, and therefore being recorded is something they are going to have to be aware of. That footage will exist of them that they are then going to know is going to be used against them without the proper context.
American Park Police Department, make yourself known.
Search warrant. Stand up.
Notice they entered guns drawn. That's important, but not for the reasons you think.
Step outside, everybody. Come on.
No. Don't move like that.
No. Don't move like that. He saw the phone and he told him not to move like that because he knew he was trying to record them.
You understand me? Don't move like that.
Okay, back to the body cam footage for a moment because of an admission after this happened, which I'm pretty sure I cut right up to after this. Yep.
Because afterwards he says this.
The main kid had his phone recording, so I shut it off, but
The other kid had a GoPro.
They mentioned the GoPro. We'll see that again in a second. But yes, he saw that he had the phone. He took note of it and was going to go stop him from recording what they were doing.
Okay. Yeah, this cop pulled my arm so far back, it dislocated my shoulder. He claims it's because I was attempting to make an escape or something.
don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like that. Don't move quick. Everybody just chill.
But if we go back a little bit, you can see I was being completely still when he grabbed me, and I actually made zero.
See how he reached for his phone
This
hand?
officer is just straight up lying, so he can give me a serious injury.
No, he's not straight up lying. He was trying to stop you from recording with the phone. And it was only after he successfully restrained you that he realized he, in his haste, might have twisted your shoulder a little bit extra. But I don't think that would bother him, given that he thinks you're a greedy, extortionate YouTuber harassing an innocent man. Anyway.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
Yes.
Yep. That was the GoPro he just turned down, by the way.
The police department got an official warrant to search our house for stolen Legos. I should have seen this coming. Josh did threaten me in the last video that if I go out and actually try to sue him, he's gonna come out and say that I'm the one that stole the Legos.
Okay, let's do it.
Fuck you, man. You stole them, bitch.
I stole the Legos?
Yeah, you're a fucking thief.
Dang. Okay.
You can shut the fuck up. That's your fucking choice.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit just to give you guys some context, but I actually got a copy of this warrant. The reason they were searching our house was, it says, there is now certain property or evidence described as any stolen merchandise, specifically Lego merchandise. Evidence of illegal conduct on us that we stole the Legos. They're looking that we stole the Legos is why they stormed our house with no evidence.
I don't think this was Josh. I think Josh makes for a compelling fall guy. I think this was Ammon. Because Ammon now needs to... He's already... Oh, I don't know. Do I have that in here? I don't know if I do. There's a statement from Bricks and Minifigs mentioning that the previous store owner had security issues, and there's no telling if some of the collection had been stolen. That's a part of Bricks and Minifigs' official story. From corporate. From the CEO. Just a thing for you to consider.
And this is after he's been proven to make up stories about us before. And so now he's just pulling something out of his butt. Oh, they're the ones that stole the Legos. And for whatever reason, the police take him seriously, even though he's acting like a crazy person.
Because to them, you're the crazy person. To them, you're the problem. Josh is innocent in their eyes, a man driven to madness by your constant harassment, and Ammon, a CEO whose business has been ruined because of you and your baseless accusations, according to them, according to their understanding. Of course they're not going to take your word for it. The well has been poisoned. But because all of it was redacted, I don't blame you for not knowing. And why was it redacted? Most likely, since Ammon was a part of that call, I'm willing to bet he's the one who asked to have those parts where he was in it redacted, to protect him, to hide his connection to this. Ammon being on the phone with Josh meant that he had to request it was redacted to protect his identity, because he is technically not a part of this case.
Anyways, the cops probably felt pretty stupid when they searched our entire house and didn't find any stolen Legos. Again, the police illegally redacted this conversation to avoid them looking stupid, but...
No, they redacted this conversation, hiding the fact that they were basically here just to arrest you and bother you, and that they were making sure you weren't recording it.
I'm pretty sure that's what they were talking about. But instead of doing what any rational police officer would do and let us go, they're sticking to their story that we're the thieves.
No. 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 They are, in this moment, unlawfully arresting you. Hoping for proof during the interrogation they can use to prove that you are a physical threat and danger to Josh, to Ammon. That you are a threat. One they can contain and keep in jail, because the goal is to turn you into the example. To crucify you so no other YouTuber dares try this. And in the eyes of the American Fork Police Department, it's because they don't want YouTubers harassing innocent people. If you're going to make a video out of this, they're going to turn you into an example of why you don't harass people without good reason. We don't need a Johnny Somali showing up in Utah. But for Ammon, this is so that he can do whatever he wants without anybody getting any cheeky ideas on trying to get him exposed. Nobody comes after his business ever again. Because the one guy who came the closest to actually doing damage, he was punished so severely that no sensible person would ever try this crap again.
Yes. Now the entire group, we are all on our way to jail. Except for me. I got taken to an interrogation room so they could find some reason to lock me up for good.
Then I'm Detective Nikosha.
Last time.
Alright, let's visit the body cam footage again, because I'm pretty sure this next part was also included here a little bit. Dum-ba-dum-ba-dum.
How many did you get? You got Ben?
We got 5 right now.
Including Ben Schneider?
Yes.
Sweet.
That's Josh on the phone. I know Josh's voice at this point. And that's a man celebrating that he has finally gotten the people he couldn't get to shut up into jail. He's finally shut them up. He's finally free. He can go back to pretending none of this happened.
Good. We have a felony stop.
I guess that's the boy's father, but this is one of the boys that was arrested.
Case right now. Felonies. Everyone's facing felonies right now.
Including Ben Schneider?
Yes.
Sweet. That's good.
We have a felony stalking case right now.
Remember, police can lie to you, but this is what they've been trying to build right now.
Felonies. Everyone's facing felonies.
That's pretty serious shit.
It's super serious. I know that you've been told all of, it's a fundraiser, this guy stole $200,000.
Yeah.
If that was the case, that guy would be in jail.
Yeah.
Well, if that was true, it would be a civil case.
So, we're going to use critical.
Anyways, we're gonna fast forward a bunch. So
Well, we're actually going to go back. Wish I had the music cue. I'll get it ready for next time. So we're going back to what happened in the meantime.
I was able to get released on bail. But this time, they're requesting that I be held in jail a month until my court date.
Yep, Benjamin Paul Schneider lives in California. I am requesting that he be held until his court date as he poses a flight risk and has multiple open cases in 2 different counties involving harassment, stalking, and commercial obstruction. Look at this. 2 different counties. There's only 2 different counties it could be. American Fork County and Kaiser County. And so they are trying to say, look, we have multiple counts in Kaiser and in American Fork involving him harassing these people, stalking these people, and disrupting their business. I don't... stalking might be a bit strong, but I given that there's some wiggle room. It would be something that would have to be proven in court, but there's enough there for probable cause. Probable cause on stalking. This is, again, another reason why I don't think they're corrupt. I just think they were fed a bad line of logic, and they've closed themselves off to hearing more.
But there's honestly nothing for me to hide, so I went through the entire story with them to show the detective that this whole thing is just a big misunderstanding.
But they already aren't going to believe you. They aren't listening to what you have to say, Ben. They're not listening to a word you have to say because they have been told that you have harassed and extorted a local business for money and profit. And that you're a YouTuber. So of course you know how to spin a story. They're not listening to a word you're saying right now. They're skimming it for anything they can use to hold you. Any admission that you've done anything they can do to punish you. You are already the villain. You are already not to be trusted. You are already the bad guy. That's why they split you and all of your little minions into separate rooms so they could jostle some kind of confession from somebody that they can use to hold you here. Because they need to turn you into an example.
If you think about it, 83-year-old man versus $400 million company. Even though the $400 million company's in the wrong, they're gonna win, you know? I wish we could just send him an email, like, show up to court this day. That would be so easy for us. Like, this is how the law works. Like, that's not my fault. Like, I don't make the law. If I made the law, send him an email, and they're like, he doesn't want your papers, you just have to figure out civilly. I'm like, this is the civil method, you know? Like, do it civilly, you have to serve. They're like, well, then just sue him then. I'm like, that's what we're doing. Like, you see how this is a circle?
Do you hear the uh-huhs? He's not listening. He thinks these are all excuses. All excuses for you to make content and make money. He doesn't care. He hasn't listened to a single thing you said. He's skimming for anything he can use to keep you here.
I am very interested on Josh's side of the story because I think he said it might have been heroin in the car or something, and they did like a 3-hour search on our car. Obviously no heroin, so I don't know what Josh is telling them that we're doing, but...
What he's telling them is that you are serially harassing him, destroying his business, and ruining his life with charges that have nothing to do with him. That you are extorting him and his larger company for money, and that you're doing all of this for a quick buck.
Suing him is not working for us, so let's do a GoFundMe.
Right after I mentioned this GoFundMe, the investigator wanted to leave the room.
Hang tight here, and then I'll be back with you, okay?
Yeah.
Because if he can make it your idea, he can prove that you put up a very damaging statement on the GoFundMe, all for attention and profit, which reinforces his narrative that you are a greedy, money-grubbing, dishonest YouTuber here to destroy an innocent man's life.
Okay.
Something about me mentioning this GoFundMe really caught his attention.
Because he was looking for his angle to keep you here.
Good. Well, I'd just like to know more about this, like, GoFundMe. Like I said, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, we were just trying to get, so basically what ended up happening is Ben got arrested, which we were pretty blown away he got arrested, but I'm like, all right, I'll take over now. Like, I don't want you to get in any more trouble. And he's like, yeah, I can't get in any more trouble. Like if you take over, like that, you know, that was my decision. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. What other questions do you, like, I guess, have? Because there's not really, I guess, much else to say in the situation, to be honest. That's just the whole thing that just happened. I mean, I'm honestly, like, kind of shocked to be arrested at this point for that. Yeah, this is definitely a very strange thing to be getting interrogated about, especially considering from my angle and the evidence I've seen, the overwhelming evidence that they just blatantly stole from this guy. It's like us trying to then do a GoFundMe to get him his money back, and I'm the one, you know, getting put in cuffs. It's crazy.
I guess.
So between Ben and this guy, who's clearly a true believer, he's gone, okay, this is the narrative that the two ringleaders have been feeding everybody else. There's a man who's had his stuff straight out stolen. And so we're doing a GoFundMe to get him more money. And we know that's what happened because of the other footage I showed you of the blonde guy in the maroon shirt, whose father was in the room. He's trying to play it like all of them are just innocent victims caught up in Ben's greedy money-grubbing scheme. He just needs one of them. Because he's not after any of the rest of them. He just needs the information to hold Ben. He'll let the rest of them go if they can get Ben. That's all they want. So he's going to play up. He's going to try and ply everybody back over to Josh's side as best he can. He knows Ben set this whole thing up, but as far as he's concerned, Ben's a supervillain. Ben's a greedy, lying YouTuber trying to extort an innocent businessman. That's their perspective. So they're going to use every police tactic they know to get Ben here. And to hold him here so he can leave the businessman alone and learn not to fuck with innocent people. Again, I think the American Fork Police Department, as unsavory as their tactics are, genuinely believed they were doing the public good. I personally don't blame them. I also don't want to be anywhere near them if they are this easily taken in by a narcissist.
The detective didn't get what he was looking for, so he decided to interview the rest of the group.
Sounded like a great project to me. I was like, okay, like it's for a good cause.
How are you doing?
And for some reason, he was trying to get all of them to admit that the GoFundMe was my idea.
Hello. Obviously, Ben was behind the GoFundMe idea as well, right?
I don't know whose idea that was, because I kind of just started. I think
But he was supportive of it as his channel, right? He said, oh yeah, let's do this for the channel.
Let's do this for the channel. Do you see why I have my theory? My theory that they are convinced he is a greedy YouTuber doing this for the clicks, the money, and he is trying to extort an innocent man for clicks. Why they think they're the good guy and why they don't believe a single thing Ben says.
My understanding? Was that kind of your ideas to do this video with the GoFundMe and all that?
But I wasn't afraid to admit that I actually made the GoFundMe for Brian, because a GoFundMe is a safe, legal way to raise money for a family if they got all their stuff stolen.
Yes, but look at the framing. They're going to frame the GoFundMe as a part of your harassment campaign for the sake of your YouTube video and paint it as a selfish campaign meant to torture and defame an innocent man for money. That's where they're at, Ben. You haven't technically done anything wrong, but you started a war with people who don't care about getting their hands dirty. And now they have formed this narrative to the police that omits all the things they've done wrong, covers the parts they can't hide, and paints you as an asshole coming to their town to make a quick buck. You, in their eyes, are Johnny Somali.
Should be risking nothing by admitting this.
Basically, the police told me, do not take this man to court, or else he will get arrested. And so I was like, just thinking, and we're like, let's do a GoFundMe, you know? And that was their solution.
But I was wrong.
We're going to book you back into the jail, okay? The creation of the GoFundMe, right? We're blasting this person all over saying, hey, he's...
So creating the GoFundMe was illegal?
When I asked the detective how creating a GoFundMe was probable cause to send me to jail, this was his response.
A lot of this stuff you may have to just get an attorney and fight it in the criminal side of court.
I guarantee to you the party fast forward through sounded like crap to Ben, because Ben doesn't know what they know. But I'm willing to bet what the police officer said is that you are blasting a claim that is poorly substantiated, may not even be true, all over the internet, claiming this man stole somebody else's stuff, and you're doing it for views. You're doing it for fame. You're doing it for YouTube, and you're doing it for money. And you've done this for months. You've harassed this man for months with this claim, all for the sake of blasting it out there. And creating a GoFundMe with that defamation claim is just one step in this chain of harassment that you have carried out. And so he's trying to explain the charges. He truly is. Ben doesn't understand them, though, because to Ben, that's not what he's been doing.
Right. Okay, should I... Yep. Can I back? Yeah, go ahead and stand up. I got an officer right here that's going to... He has cuffs for you.
Will I also be able to hear Josh's side of the story? Because I think he's said a lot of lies to you guys.
It'll be... And I never talked to Josh, but it'll be documented in the report as well.
Okay, thank you so much. But
Yep, the detective didn't talk to Josh. He's just heard the story around the office. So he's not lying, but he's also not being honest. Wait. Let me clarify. We have footage now proving he was on the phone with Josh, so it could just be an open lie. Let me clarify that, because we do have that footage, so yeah.
The detective was lying. The police have illegally redacted every single claim Josh has made about me, and when I finally go to court, I'm going to be completely blind to what I'm even being charged for. The worst part is that the police officers took away my bail, so now I have to wait a month in jail.
And I guarantee the attempt at that was from Ammon. It was Ammon telling them they have to bring the hammer down so that no extortionate, lying, greedy YouTuber continues to come to this city thinking they can harass a company for something that has nothing to do with them. Because if you don't make an example out of Ben, then any other YouTuber who wants to take up this case and continue to harass innocent, uninvolved people over this one thing, oh well, that's going to be a problem. So you got to bring the hammer down hard. Make an example out of him. Put his head on a pike, and I'm sure somewhere in his office. If Ammon is a narcissist, as I suspect he is, but speculation. If he's the narcissist I speculate him to be, he was watering at the mouth with this news. I got that YouTuber in jail. I'm not even connected to it. I don't even have to show up. They have all the evidence they need. He has nothing to work with. We can shut him the fuck up and make sure nobody else comes, because this is what will happen to them. Which is what makes the next part really funny.
However, I ended up getting extremely lucky. When a judge ended up reviewing this arrest, they thought the whole thing was so stupid and ended up releasing me on bail.
You should have given him the Legos, Josh. Because you see, the judge looked at this and went, this sounds really fucking dumb. I'm not going to hold him as though he's a murderous felon. We're letting him go. We have one accusation of murder already there. So, oh, he threatened to murder the manager. There's something about this that stands out to me. That what they had was not enough to deny him bail. Now watch what happens next.
Now, at least I'm a free man until my court case. Let's go, man. The illegal acts that I committed was mentioning that Josh stole the Legos in our GoFundMe. So if you say who the thief is, then that is illegal for us to do that. Now, I just have to wait for court. And honestly, I'm not excited. My entire life, I was taught if you steal from people, you get in trouble. And if you help people, you get rewarded. But I guess I was just taught a lie.
The danger of narcissists in the system, and why this case in particular made me feel like I had to make these videos. To raise awareness. Because it's not a lie. If the police had known from moment one what was going on, if you had looped them in on this in some capacity as you went, and they were aware before you ever even started harassing Josh and Brandon, before you ever talked to Amanda for the first time, if you had informed them what was going on, what you intended to do, and took that unreasonable road, you might have been able to do what Josh did, what Ammon did. Win over the police on this matter and go, look, this is what's going on. We're not pressing criminal charges, but we would like to take actions to attempt to reclaim this property. And every single time you're like, hey, look, we're intending to carry through on this particular tactic. And if you had told the police, the Kaiser police, not the American Fork police, though I think the American Fork police hearing from the Kaiser police is like, hey, he's doing this, it might have worked out. But because the narcissist was able to get control of the narrative first, because they were the ones in charge of what was going on, that led to problems. You could have explained what you were doing, and you might have been able to get this going the way you needed to. You wouldn't have gotten arrested, there wouldn't have been a warrant, you wouldn't have armored an entire police corps against you. But, had you done any of that, you would have risked tipping your hand to the narcissist and making everything worse anyway. This is why I recommend do not engage with a narcissist, do not escalate, do not participate in the arms race. Because the narcissist will not stop until they've won.
By me trying to help and do the right thing, all I did was just screw everything up and get all of my friends in trouble. I couldn't fix anything, and now with all the charges I got in this video, I'm looking at least 5 years in jail. But I finally accept my fate. I failed, and now it's time to go home. But before I made it home, one of my roommates called me saying that a police officer just showed up to our house.
So he rings the doorbell, and he's like, "Is Mr. Snyder here?" I was like, "Why?" I was like, "Can I deliver a message for you?" He's like, "How could you deliver a message?" He said it just like that. He was like, "Just tell him he has a warrant for his arrest." Like, he thought he was in an action movie type walk off, and that was his like end scene line.
If I had to guess, I'd say that Bricks and Minifigs has seen that I am a free man, and they can't have me actively working on my lawsuit against them. And considering how many lies Bricks and Minifigs has made about me in this video,
don't start an arms race with a narcissist, because they will not stop until they've won.
Fuck you, man. You stole them, bitch.
I stole the Legos?
American Fork Police Department, make yourself known. Included in the warrant are Legos.
I can only imagine of what I'm being accused of doing now. So immediately, I called the Utah Police Department to see what my warrant was for. Someone showed up at my house today saying that there was a warrant out for my arrest.
If that warrant has a no bail, those are the ones that are more serious.
No bail. Those are the ones that are more serious. We'll get into that, trust me. We are not going to make this a two-parter. We are getting all of this done in this sitting.
The only thing the police department could tell me is that I do have a warrant, but this time the judge approved it that I will have no bail, and I am now a physical...
The defendant represents a credible threat to the physical safety of the protected person.
Threat to Josh, the person the police are protecting. So basically, at any moment now, I could be arrested without bail for some mystery crime. There really is only one thing that I can do now. Well, I'm in Mexico now, and...
Yep. They were right that he was a flight risk, but he didn't have to be. If they hadn't put the non-bail warrant out for him, he wouldn't have become a flight risk. Now, why do I bring that up? You should have given him the Legos, Josh. And in this case, I'm not even talking to Josh anymore, though Josh could have saved himself a lot of trouble. If he had, he would have gotten himself fired by Ammon, of course. But he would have saved himself the trouble. We're coming back to this now, because there's a detail in here that I want to draw attention to.
This is basically a spoiler for episode 3, but basically this Bricks and Minifigs company has non-stop been making fake bomb threats, fake fire threats, fake murder threats in my name that I'm going to murder them. The only problem is, obviously these are all fake threats. I would never do something like that, but the police think that these are real threats.
Because they've already been told that you are a YouTuber extorting an innocent man for money. And now you have a warrant out. You've been arrested multiple times over this. Doesn't it seem that after all the other outlandish things you've done, and how they've been convinced that this is an innocent man, why would he lie about bomb threats? Why would he lie about fire threats? And they already know you threatened to kill a manager. Ammon, you know what you did. He got out on bail because apparently his charges weren't severe enough. So, whether it was you or Josh or Brandon, one of you keeps calling into the police saying, whether you actually got a threat or not, saying that you got bomb threats, saying that you got threats of murder, saying that you got threats of arson. You keep calling in because he got away and he's not currently in jail. So you need to escalate. You need to escalate until he is in jail. You need a head on the pike. Again, this is if Ammon is the narcissist I think him to be. Because this man declared war. And now Ammon needs a head on his pike so that nobody fucks with him again. Next time you're told by Bricks and Minifigs to sit your ass down and shut up or they'll take legal action, this is what they mean by the legal action they will take. And as far as the police department is concerned, it's all valid. Not because what he's doing is legal, but because they believe the story that Ben is the supervillain.
So now the police from Los Angeles, from Utah, they're all working together now to catch me. Here's a phone call from...
Because you have a warrant out for your arrest because of fake bomb threats and fake murder threats. Of course the people from Los Angeles are in on this. If you've done any of the things you claim to have done in your other videos, and your Scientology sucks is already registered in California, so, yeah, I'm willing to bet the Church of Scientology's already called on you a few times. Not that I'm saying anything about that. I would never speak anything about the Church of Scientology. But they already have records. They have records of multiple arrests. They have records of harassment and stalking being the charges. And now threats of bomb. You look like a lunatic, but not the kind of lunatic that you are. They're doing their job. It's the narcissists who lied to them that are the problem.
Just a few days ago, of the Los Angeles police calling the Utah police, of them scheming of a way to get me arrested for all these mystery threats that I've been making.
Paul, we got a complaint from a guy in Provo about this guy Schneider.
Okay.
And so it seems like I talked to the guys in Sandy police too, and then trying to get a hold of Provo police. So it seems like, yeah, Schneider's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Basically, so he called me and he's just like, this guy's crazy. He's like making threats against us, my employees, our business, etc., etc. It seems like this guy might.
Our employees, my business, etc., etc. That's Ammon. If not Ammon, then somebody speaking on his behalf. That is 100% Ammon's influence. Ammon wants your head on a pike, Ben. He wants it so bad he can taste it. In fact, if Ammon could get away with legally getting you killed, I'm 100% sure he would do it. But he can't, so I'd make it 10-15% chance that's going to come to pass. But if you do end up dead somewhere along the course of this, yeah, I won't be surprised. I won't. That seems about right for how this has been going down. We'll be covering the rest of the videos connected to this, because you got to keep in mind, other than the body cam footage, which we're looking at right now, everything that happened in part 2 of the video, including him running to Mexico, that happened before he released part 1. So the public at large didn't know anything other than the banner over the store until part 1 came out. And now Ammon, after part 1 came out, it's been like, according to the camera footage from the body cams, it looks like it's been about 2 months. Yeah, Ammon's trying so hard to escalate this, to paint you into this terrorist leading up to this this court case. I don't think you're going to be able to get anywhere near the courthouse, really, and I think that's the intent. Keep you away from the courthouse so they can tell their side of the story and absolutely ruin your life. Because that's what they think you've done to them. They will never admit to what they've done. They will never admit to how morally dubious it is. And they are going to punish you and everybody helping you until they get what they want. And they've already told their sob story to the local police, so you're not going to get any help from local law enforcement. In fact, if anything, the wave of people calling them corrupt has only further poisoned them against you. Because now, as far as they're concerned, the reason why their police department has a bad reputation is because Reckless Ben came to town trying to extort a local businessman.
Live in LA, or his last known address is in LA. So I guess I'm just trying to track down like what you guys are doing, if anything. I know, like, at least I've been told that there's technically a couple open cases. This guy's already being charged in Utah by 3 different places. Like, what are we doing? Any idea where he actually is?
No idea.
Okay.
I know we had asked to hold him until we had further, but I'm guessing they just let him bond out. So.
Okay.
Yep, there's that one. So that can go away, because that's the end of the body cam footage. But yeah, that's what's been going on. And this is the end of the video. We managed to cover all of this, including the body cam footage, pretty much point for point. And the body cam footage, to me, exonerates the American Fork Police. It actually just further proves to me my speculation might have a little bit more grounding than I originally gave it credit for. Because everything they're doing screams, absolutely screams, narcissistic abuse of power. Ben won't let them hide from what they did, and they know what they did was wrong. And since they can't hide from it, it means they can't forget it, which means they need to shut the person up who's doing it so they can memory hole the whole thing and go back to pretending it never happened. Because they cannot, will not, and are entirely incapable of processing the guilt of what they did. They cannot handle the shame. And the more this sticks to them, the more they're forced to confront it, the more desperate they will be to stop the noise. To shut everyone up who knows about it. You'll find out as we go over the other paperwork, too. They took precautions to make sure that, even within their franchises, this is not a thing that keeps coming up. They are doing everything they can to silence the entire arrangement. Anything to make people leave them alone. But that doesn't stop Ammon, because he wants Ben's head. Even if he stops what Ben started, gets everybody to get quiet and forget about Ben, he won't. He needs Ben gone and discredited. He needs him ashamed in court and then removed from the board permanently. Whether that's just destroying his entire career or something worse. Anything to stop Reckless Ben from ever thinking he can go around opening his mouth about this kind of crap ever again. Anyway, that's the end of this video. See, this one wasn't so bad. It was 3/5 the length of the other one, and as long as the first video. I got some feedback on the first one that it's a bit boring and dry. And you know what? We're talking about narcissists, so of course, yeah, no, it's A lot of it's going to be going over what... a lot of it's going to be untangling and dry exposition. And as you saw here, defense of the people who don't know any better. I'm going to see next time I run Narcissist Theater if I can't get a little bit of background music playing in the background. I'll pick a nice little classical piece. Probably. Maybe. We'll figure it out. Either way, I'll get something quiet in the background so when I'm talking, you're not just hearing my voice, and you can listen to something nice while you hear me yammer on. Maybe I'll make it some smooth jazz. That way, you know, you have something more than my dulcet tones to listen to. But we'll figure that out for next time. In the meantime, remember, all of this was speculation for educational purposes. If you find a narcissist in your own life, do not confront them, do not fight them, do not participate in the narcissist arms race. Quietly excuse yourself from the situation and seek your own mental health. And if I ever catch any of you projecting any of what I said onto somebody else in an argument, that's you being the narcissist, not them. Because again, I've told you, do not engage. All right. You guys have a good day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. 2 bricks and minifigs, they now have up to 3 layers of distance from this contract. They have the original owner, which, yes, they disenfranchised and forced out, but she is the one who signed the contract. If that layer fails, they can throw Brandon under the bus and say, Brandon is no longer working with us. Due to his lies, we take no responsibility for Brandon's actions and have no longer... and they can throw him under the bus. He is the next scapegoat to fall underneath. If somehow they can prove that Brandon was operating under Josh's orders, well, now corporate can throw Josh under the bus and go, we had no idea Josh was so corrupt, and we are no longer associating with him. That is 3 layers of redundancy before corporate actually becomes responsible for this. That isn't a mistake. As soon as I finished recording, there was an update. You should have given him the Legos, Josh. Yeah. Also, fucking called it.